energy.
Oh, we're being live streamed. Yay!
Yeah.
Are we live?
Are we?
Yeah, we're on.
We're live.
This is podcast number 8.
out of control number 8.
It is.
It is out of control.
Yay! Live on YouTube.
There you go.
This is podcast number 8. We've renumbered it because we've had a bit of a shift around and got rid of some of the old ones. So, this is number 8. Hello, everybody.
This is number 8 of seeing our faces. More or less.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it?
New beginnings. If anybody wonders why I'm giggling, I got kidnapped on a boat.
Got made to drink alcohol.
I got made to drink alcohol and they wouldn't let me off until I did.
This is bearing in mind, neither of us have had a drink for about a year and a half.
About a year and a half. And they thought it was highly amusing because they knew I was going live on YouTube in about half an hour. So I managed to get out from a boat.
Gary, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, Gary, because you did say you wanted to shout out.
Hello, Gary. Lots of love. I'm going to kill you.
You're dead, apparently. but this is the nice thing about the boating community, which you don't get in houses, and where you can just go from boat to boat, and have something to eat and drink and everything else. And if anyone needs a hand, you all help each other. And it's something you don't.
It's a big community spirit, isn't it?
It's huge.
It's lovely.
Huge, and that's why.
Every time somebody's going shop, everyone asks somebody, does anybody want anything?
Yeah.
It's lovely.
And I'm usually, you don't know the guys I know, but there you go. But anyway, no, but it is. It's wicked, and that's why we wanted to do this. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, because we did quite a lot of saving up to buy an old tub to do it too. But it's the community. You never get to see your neighbours, do you?
No.
Not in a normal house.
Not in a normal house.
Not like it used to be. Not at all like it used to be.
But but the boating community is like going back probably, I don't know, 50 years, 60 years. You know, somebody's got a problem, don't matter what it is, somebody will come, somebody will come and help and chat and talk and everything else. So you get to know everybody in the boat, and that doesn't matter where you are. You can travel from here to another harbour or wherever you go to, and it's the same thing. You can go anywhere, and that's why I always say to people, watch SV Delos, because it's what we've done now, nearly 300 shows, and it just proves that there is decent people out there that are there, and they're decent people, and there's still decent people out there, and it just proves, because it is hard in these times to realise who's who and who's what, and finding decent people, but it does prove globally, wherever they travel to, there is genuinely beautiful people in the world. And it's nice to see that.
It's lovely.
Mainstream media wants to tell you that everyone's a criminal and everyone's bad, and because they have an agenda. But in all truth, everywhere you go, if whatever energy you present with is the energy you'll get met with. So if you come and you're an asshole, then you're going to find all the assholes. But if you're genuine, I mean, I don't know about you. My entire life's been filled with genuine people. I mean, I've exactly. Don't run into all of this bullshit they talk about.
There's an old saying years ago. I don't even know where I heard it from. And it was like somebody went to buy a new house or move into a new area, and before he bought the house, he asked somebody. He says, "What are people like around this area?" And the reply was exactly the same as where you left. It seems to make sense. It's how you are as a person and how you get treated as a person. So if you're an arsehole, you'd be treated like an arsehole, and if you're a decent person, you'd be treated as a decent person.
Because like attracts like, right?
Yeah.
So Well,
exactly.
That's how we've all ended up together. Everyone here in this group.
Yeah. It's wicked, isn't it?
It is awesome.
We're going to have to get,
thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We absolutely adore it.
And we must say as well, we've got a few patriots that have come on board now and everything, and just want to say,
and thank you so much for all their support as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's honestly,
it's
my mind. It's awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and it's wicked as well, because they don't ask anything in return either, which is lovely, because we always say to them, anyone want a live chat, come bring us up,
Let us know.
Let us know.
Yeah, you're always happy to talk to anybody.
I fucking love it, yeah. Yeah.
Please.
Anybody. It was like, I go for a wander around the boatyard, and I'm probably gone for all day.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
Took me either, Lou. It took me
I
either.
come back and it's like, where have you been? And I went, well, I've been there. You know what I mean? Or I can go to the shops and I'm gone for like 3 hours. I've seen somebody that might want to talk to me. I'm like, let's go and talk to somebody.
We're talkers. We can't help ourselves. We love to talk. And I think that all of us talkers, we need to unite, because everybody thinks there's something wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with us.
I love that. I love that people think we're mad, because that is an achievement.
It is. It is.
Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? People go, you are bonkers. I've actually achieved something once in my life that, you know what I mean, that like 80% of the population agree on. Yes, that is quite an achievement. Almost made a career out of it, haven't we?
Yeah. Yeah, we are, haven't we?
I used to have a motto years ago when we used to go out nightclubbing years ago, and it was like, if you got on with somebody or you didn't get on with somebody, yeah. So in the end, it was like, and within conversation, it's sillies and willies, yeah, and then it was porn and poo. And once you've touched on all them subjects, and you can still have a conversation, you can talk about fucking anything. Yeah, sillies, willies, porn and poo. And once you've hit all them targets, yeah, and you still get on with that person, that means you can talk about anything in between. But it's right. Silly's willy's porn and poo, and I'll try and get as much in as possible, and they'll either go, you're a fucking weirdo and fuck off, or like, fucking hell, and you go, right, you're the person for me, because now we can talk about anything you want to talk about, because there's no holds barred, let's put it like that.
Us talkers, we don't have inhibitions. We just say what was on our mind. We just go, hey, what's up? And we'll be like forever going.
It's true though, isn't it?
It is true.
It is true. Sorry, I wasn't going to have a fag, but I am.
Okay, the
Sorry,
silence
Tash?
now. I said silence. It went silent for about 10 seconds. That was a bit of a shock there.
Fag.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's just blowing
Sorry,
my
Tash.
mind.
I was just thinking how many teapots have gone cold since you put that up at the back.
Honestly,
didn't
You
you like
another
it?
drink.
I'm going to be honest now, innit?
I have gone there. I got injured. Why shouting? I'm not shouting. What are you about?
You bloody bastard.
The thing was though, I walked through the boatyard. All I could hear was this dance house music pumping out of the boat, and I was like, "Oh, hello!" And then knocked on the door as fun police attempt to turn it down. Next thing you know, I got kidnapped, force-fed alcohol, weren't allowed out until I rang you up and went, "Help!"
Help.
Help! It forced me to
No,
take alcohol.
I did say, Gary, you better text, and then
Lucy.
yeah, and tell you where I am, otherwise you're going to be in trouble. And then he comes out of the toilet in his boat and went, "You've got to go," because I went, "Yeah, I know." So he's obviously scared of you.
I don't know why.
Eh?
I don't know why.
It was like, you better go. He even told his mate, "Let him out."
Did he
Yeah, he did. He's got to go, otherwise he'd be in trouble with you. Anyway, it will calm down. I'll probably sleep in a minute. Like,
Yeah.
I don't do alcohol. Come like that. Oh my God.
They've not drank for it's well over a year and a half.
A year and a half. Yeah.
That's really
Since I've
cool.
had a drink. It is cool, isn't it?
Yeah. I've stopped.
I'm
as
easily
well.
led when I get locked in the boat with house music on flashy lights. Honestly, you want to see his disco lights he's got in his boat? He's the same age as me, and he makes music and he's wicked. What I'll do is we'll put
a link to his YouTube channel.
Yeah,
he's got some awesome music. That
he's got 300,000 followers of the music makes house music.
Awesome! It is awesome.
It's wicked.
What's
put the link in because I'd like to
DJ
listen.
Vex, I think it is. DJ Vex.
DJ Vex. We'll put a link up at the end of the show.
That's what you said. He did.
It's why I don't know.
You said that. I'm like, oh, what did you say?
Did I say that? Did I?
Yes.
Calm down.
Oh, okay. I'm again up. Honestly, I got back and thought I've got to swear myself up big time because, like, I don't know.
I had a big shot of quinine each.
So I had a glass like that of quinine.
Probably didn't help, did it?
I don't know. I've had 3 today anyway.
Yeah, that's our third.
That's our third batch. Not all of it. Like, you know what I mean, a shot. So I've had 3 of them, but then we've had quercetin, then we've had zinc, then we've been over there, and I thought I've got to sort myself out. So I've had an omelette, I've had this, I've had that. I feel right now, though. Anyway, most one.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
I don't fucking. You don't. Why are you asking me? Give me
I'm
surprised I'm still sitting up.
Relevance, relativity, and
relevant to and
reality?
relevant from.
Yeah.
But before we do that, go.
Ding ding ding.
Excuse me.
I mean, I said it was a mistake I did on purpose to see who was reading what was doing, but like you weren't having none of that.
Right.
You weren't having none of that way.
We made a mistake.
When I was doing it, I couldn't find my glasses. So when I did the clock, I didn't have my glasses. So I was doing everything like that.
Squinty.
Literally like that, wasn't it? So anyway, what I did was when I was going around the clock, I put 2 10s in instead of a 10 and 11.
And the lovely Doreen texted saying she'd got different calculations, and can we talk about it? What's that?
Sorry.
Can we talk about it? Because you know, it was different. So we rang Doreen up once we realised we'd made a mistake, didn't we, Doreen?
Once I found these.
And thanks very much.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Calculations.
Yeah. What I did was I actually put, when I was counting around the clock, I put 2 10s in instead of a 10 and 11. Yeah. So anyway.
Yay, that was really good. Wow.
That's right.
That was really cool. I like it.
Very long. Turned out good.
Do you feel different since you've actually done it with your hand and sort of like done it properly? Do you feel has it empowered you?
Yeah.
Or do you feel different?
Yeah. I feel.
Oh, William.
I haven't been sleeping really well, and so now I started sleeping really well, and I'm just not attached to everything that you view within the vision of your eyes, I guess. You know,
yes.
Yesterday I felt sad. I'm like, I told my husband, I go, man, I feel really sad. I don't know why. And then today it's completely gone. But I felt like something was attacking in like the solar plexus area. And I was like, I don't want it. I'm going to let it go, moving on. And so it's the clock, and, I want to study it more. And And do more. I'm going to do more drawing. And I already think I'm going to redo it because my lines aren't straight. And I'm like, oh, I got to get my lines straight, kind of anal that way. But,
I'm the same.
I am.
But it doesn't matter. Should we say hello to William?
Hi, William.
Hello, William.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hello,
William.
William.
Are you all right?
What's hello to
I'll
everybody?
get ready for you to become animated. Hello, William.
Oh, I am animated, am I? Okay, hang on.
No, you're stuck. You're just picture man right now.
He is, isn't he?
Man.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Was that an old passport photo, William? Was it? You looked at.
You really stopped me for once, there you did. I thought, yeah, okay.
We've got that. Oh no! I've just borrowed my glasses. Oh my god!
Have you got any pipe cleaners, Terry?
That's the last.
Yes, I
I'll
got
just-
five for my glasses. Look at that shit, man.
Well, wear
I
'em
broke
like
my
that.
arms on the glasses, so I got high one day and went,
This
hey,
is what
why
happens
did
when I have
thought of that?
alcohol. I got
So
kidnapped on a
resourceful.
boat. It's completely disintegrated. Oh, you can't tell if I sit like that. You can't tell, can you? Although everybody knows I've just like bust my glasses into.
Excuse me.
I've got to wear glasses because there's that many people here tonight. I can't see anybody.
Yeah, you can have mine. Mine don't work like
Thanks,
that.
How are you then? When are you all right?
I'm very good. No, I just said I'd pop in just to see what the story was.
Absolute chaos as
Welcome,
usual.
welcome.
Absolute
what?
chaos.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
No, it's the Brady Bunch.
What's all this crack?
yeah.
No,
We're the clan.
when I saw you on with Mark Atwood, I never saw your faces. And I could
Yeah.
never make sense of what you were on about. So I gave up. It's like, I don't know. I just can't. I don't understand what. It's hard to try to
Yeah.
imagine everything when you can't see anything.
Yeah. Seeing
Yeah.
them's a lot easier to understand it because when Juicy moves his hands, explains it. For me, it goes a lot more in than it did when I was looking at
Yeah.
a picture and I was thinking, oh,
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from. I got a bit confused, but now we can see them. It's a lot easier.
Well, yeah.
See them. She only lives 2 miles away. So we actually
Well,
turned
yeah.
up at her house. On the door.
Yeah, hello.
Which is wicked, isn't it?
Yeah, because we didn't know, did we? It's only because I drew the clock and I messaged you
Yeah.
and I said, I think it's from Dorset. And you said, where? And I went, and you went, no way. It's like, up the road. And I was like, no. And that was it. Wasn't it? Crazy shit.
But Cheryl, last week you was talking about I think it was the after show. We was talking about stars and what's it called?
Astrology.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when we watched I can't even say his name, you say it.
Santos.
Nucci.
Santi Bonacci.
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 Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know him.
Now, when we was watching, when we a friend of ours, she put that up and she shared it with us. And then when we seen what it was talking about, Abracadabra and the word of Abracadabra and the clock and everything else, it was like, oh my God, it all fits together with what the journeys we've been on. Abracadabra being a very ancient word to do with the atom, because we had a lot to do with the atom on our travels and everything else. And it was like another part of the picture. Then he talks about the star systems and stuff in a slightly different way and how they work. Because you're Libra, William, aren't you? And I'm Libra as well.
Oh right, yeah.
So
yeah, I'm a big fan of Santos. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was talking about Libra because I think it rises on the. Cheryl will know, or she was going to tell me off. It rises on the.
I don't know that much.
I'm not really on that. Apparently, it rises on the 22nd of September. Libra.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Which,
22.
like,
Yeah.
22.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So when he said
My
22,
number.
when he said 22, then you said it's a big number in your life, and it's a big number. Well, look, that's how big it is in my life, and it's not the case. I went out to have a tattoo with 22 in it. It was just a random tattoo I had done.
Ah, okay.
This is like this is pre anything, and it's got 22 in it back to back, or 555.
Yeah.
Which is like mirrored. And then obviously Abracadabra came as like a download of what Abracadabra was, and it all works out into 11s and 22s, all of it. So of course it was like, I won't say epiphany, but it was like it's like there's no such thing as coincidence, is there?
No.
There is, you know, one is random, two is take heed, and three, there's something going on. So I used to call it Coincidence Street, as in all these coincidences, it can't keep just happening. There's a force behind these coincidences. So of course, within the Abracadabra clock, it always balances out to 22 and 11 and everything else within the calendar. We did this 20 odd years ago when it came to us as like a download, and I unpicked it all and put it together. And then as time's gone on, people are talking about, especially what he was talking about and the journeys we've been on since we've had the clock in the life, it all balanced and made sense with a lot of the journeys we've been on, especially when he talks about people who are in boxes. And that I forgot about that journey we went on about being in boxes, because we had quite we went on a journey with that, and we was converting the boxes into spheres, taking people out of the boxes and making spheres, recoding the boxes. And I forgot completely all about that. But it was all to do with taking the individual codes of a box, which kept us all individual and it didn't fit properly, and then changing the codes into spheres so it all locks together so we can communicate telepathically and who we are. So all the spheres fit together as one.
Okay. But instead of being
isolated in the box, or a parallel, or a box. So when he mentioned that, I was like, you know what, I forgot literally all about that journey we went on. So it did trigger quite a lot of because I think he did that video quite a few years ago.
Yeah, I don't think it's a new one.
It's not a recent one, no. But it did make sense with the journey we've been on. And then if we you want to put the new clock up, don't have a look at the new clock, William, in case it helps you.
Yeah, put it up, because I haven't really studied. I don't even know what it's about.
I ain't got a clue.
Said I wouldn't mind a bit of
At least you're honest about it.
Have you got the whole page with lots of little ones up? Because it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know if. Yeah, you've not got one individual picture up.
Okay.
Yeah, you can also enlarge it if you want to, people. If you didn't know, you can take your fingers.
Yeah, can you see that?
Yes,
yeah.
Can
you see that, guys?
Yeah.
Right, now then, what I did was I'm not touching this. Yeah, okay, I probably did, didn't I? Right, so when we got given this message, or when I got given this message of how to, I go through it again. When I got given this message of how the clock fits together, it's like Abracadabra was a word that was booming out of me at Phase and Fable. When we had the Phase and Fable open, the energy of the word was coming out for some reason. And
do you want me to put the old one on?
Yeah, put the old one up. Hang on.
Let me find it.
Hang on.
Lucy, by the way, your hair's looking lovely. Your hair's looking a lot longer.
Do you think so?
Yes. You look beautiful today.
Can you guys see that?
Can you see that?
No.
No.
I've only got a tiny thing here.
Can you open it up?
Really?
I have a whole series of things. What is it?
What do you got?
You need to come out of it and then click on the individual page again, because it's showing all the pictures. That's it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's
I'll just quickly interrupt you and say, Scotty Girl says it's lovely to see William again.
Who's that?
Very lovely. Thank you for coming, William. Thank you so much.
Oh, Terry.
Can you guys
How are you,
see
lovely?
that?
How you doing?
Yeah, we can see it now.
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Right, can you see that?
Yeah, we can see
Take
it.
your fingers
Just
and
see
you
the
can
and
enlarge
everything.
it
Okay.
too.
Now then, yeah. Now, when this came to me, the energies gave this to me. This came to me, and I put this together. I think we said before, but it came to me within 4 hours of how to put the clock together. Yeah. So I didn't know what it meant by then, because this is 20 odd years ago. This is before the internet and everything else, really. But quite simply works like this. Abracadabra is a magical word, but a non-magical word. But if you understand what abracadabra means, then basically you have to tread very carefully with it, because you carry it around your neck like a heavy weight on a very thin piece of cotton, so it can easily snap. Or you have to tread. The way I've seen it is, you have to tread very carefully with the information that this gives you. Yeah. So anyway, within the clock, you do, the way it was shown to me, you do as it says. So abracadabra has got 11 letters in it. Yeah. So if you want to split 11, it's 5.5, which is that. Yeah, which is 2 reversed to each other. So it's your 21st slot to 22. So I got shown to balance everything out. You put it round at 12 o'clock. I never realised until I watched that video the other day, 12 is the perfect number for doing any calculation within the universe. I never knew that. Not 24, but apparently 12 is like the magic number for doing it. I never knew that, because this is like 20 odd years ago when I did this. So all it did was, it did what it said. So BC is before clock and AD is after dial. Yeah. So before clock, after dial, obviously you got the clock. Well, the cross in the middle depicts abracadabra as in 11 letters. When you look in Phase and Fable, it draws it in like a pyramid shape, that shape in abracadabra. So basically that's abracadabra 3 times at the top and abracadabra 3 times there. And then it's like, do as it says. AD, yeah, add a cross. Yeah, there's your cross. And then you do as it says. So I put abracadabra around the clock, so the A comes down to the center point in the middle of the.
So the center of abracadabra
is A.
Is A.
Because that's a start point. And then I just went D A B or A that way, and split it that way. So it split it around the clock. At this particular time, I didn't know why I was doing it. It was just what I got shown to do. And then because you do it as it says, you add a cross. So 7 and 1 is 8. So you add your 7 and 1s, which is 8.
And you add your 8 and 2s.
8 and 2.
9 and 3.
9 and 3s.
10 and 4s. 11 and 5s. 12s and 6s.
So you're adding out of you add a cross, and you've added across the clock.
So that's your next sphere, isn't it?
So it gives you 18 at the top, and then it gives you 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 at the bottom again. And then it goes 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Yeah, back to your 18. Now, he was saying 18 and 12 is a big figure for regarding the atom, left and right of an atom. 12 and 18 is like
key numbers,
really big key numbers in regards to the atom. And he talks about the Christ spark within them numbers of 12 and 18. I've only learned this week when I watched one of his videos. So because you've added out of the clock, you've got to balance the clock, because everything has to be balanced. You add it out and then you subtract. So I didn't know why I was doing this at the time. So all I've done then is take away the highest from the lowest. So you got the 2. So basically you got the 1 from the 8, which is 7. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you take the 7 from the 8, which is 1, and then the 1 from the 7, which is 6. So 4 calculations of the highest from the lowest, it balances out at 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, all the way around the clock. Now, there's no such thing as coincidence, but for that mathematically to happen at that particular point when I did this, it was like a wow moment. It was like, wow, that adds up to 6. That adds up to all the 6s up 4 calculations out. But then the real weird thing was, if you go to the number 6 at the bottom and look at number 12 underneath the 18, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 again.
Around the clock.
Around the clock. So when you go to the top, which is number 12 again, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, back to 12 again. So that's
so
what
it's 3 clocks in it.
It's 3 clocks in it from 2 simple calculations of adding across and taking the highest from the lowest 4 out, which is your 6, which is your full, and then you've got your individual clocks within it. And I was like, that can't be a coincidence of them simple calculations keep putting the clock together in them spheres. It's like there's no such thing as coincidence, and for that whole thing to line up perfectly with that, then you got Tesla with his 369. So on your 180 line, you got your 3, 6, and your 9 lines coming through.
Yeah,
and then I just added the totals up at that particular time coming out from the clock just to see what it would do. And on the 180 line, it's 30, 30. So, but then you've got 30 degrees in between each one of your 12s, so it makes your full clock off your 180. And then the only two that balance out for 22 was your 1 and your 7, which had up to 2 and 2, which is 22, which made sense for me because it's almost like 22 is like, as far as I'm concerned, it's the balance of the universe. It is balance, which is 22. That's why when you play cards, you pay the banker 22, you win at 21. That's why you always lose at cards, because the odds of the universe are stacked against you, because the cards are always going to turn out in balance of 22.
Yeah.
And then when I was doing all of this at the same time, I knew nothing about numerology. I didn't know nothing. I just knew I had to, A is 1, B is 2. And this is like 20 odd years ago before I knew anything. So when I put the numbers with Abracadabra, they all calculate up to 52 weeks of the year, or 52 cards in a deck of cards. Yeah. Or 52 is 2 and 2 in reverse to each other, the 22 again, which is the balance.
Yeah.
So it was like, whichever way I went with this, it always throws you into balance and 22. And when I was watching one of William, he said 22 is big in my life, and 22 is like massive in mine. That's why it's nice to, to understand where this 22 comes from and the balance of 22. So then when you go into the calculations, I got the calculations at the top. Apparently, Abra is another word for female as well. So Abra, female universe. Yeah. And I've always said to you that I know full well that the female has created the male to protect the female. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a female universe. It has to be a female universe.
And that's what we're moving into again. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got female. I was like, wow. It's like, and then when you add up all these here, I forget which one it is. That V, which is the V, is the 22nd letter of the alphabet, which is 22 again. And V is also equal Roman numerals to 5, which is 2 again. So when you add V and V, which is 10, it's a big X. So it all keeps coming back in all the time to 11 and 22s, whichever way you go. We've had this for a very long time. We've had this, 20 odd years since it came to us as a download or whatever it is. And then since then, it's led us into the scams of the banking in 2002. Yeah.
The Abracadabra code is in our DNA.
It must be. It must be. I've either picked it up off you, for me to download it for you, to put it out there, for, for what it actually means. So then we don't know. I don't know all of it. But when I was listening to him with the atom in the center, should we go to the new one we did? So a while ago, I thought, let's take the subtractions to naught. Oh,
hold on. Do you see that one?
See that one?
So all I have is the same picture up all the time, just the clock.
Have you?
Yeah, still got the old clock. Oh, hello.
Oh, no, you can't get rid of it. Once it enters your life, you've had it.
How about that?
How about that?
There we go.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
So, can we zoom in a bit? So, from the 6th line.
So it's the same clock. Same 12 round the first one.
Yeah, okay.
Abracadabra round the next one. We've got 6s round there.
So that's the original clock in the centre, up to the 6th line. Yeah. So then I started from the 6th line all fresh and did my subtractions and carried on doing my subtractions just to see what would happen.
We do this, you know, it's a bit blurry.
It is a bit blurry. I do apologise. But the thing is, when you try and take a photo of these, the energy in the photo makes them that's a bit better. Look. So I started from the 6th line again.
This is the 6th line.
Yeah. So I started calculating out the highest from the lowest from the inside of the 6 back onto the outside. And here we go. Yeah, here's your, where your abracadabra line comes up.
You know, you're pointing.
Yeah.
They can't see you.
Oh, can't they?
No.
I can, yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Can you?
Point with that.
Yeah, okay.
This is why
Do you want to point with that?
No,
whiteboard
don't.
and
I won't get involved.
pointer.
Okay.
That's
That's why he needs a whiteboard and a pointer so he can point it out.
no.
And we can see it.
Oh, don't encourage him. Aditi's been going
That's what you
I
said
want a
last
laser pen. She won't let me have one. She's like,
No.
Not encouraging it so that he can get his point across.
Don't start.
anyway, so the same process, using the 6th line to carry on, yeah, and then taking from the 6 and do the calculator. Here you go, 6, and then you got your 1 minus that 5, all the way out.
4, 3, 3 minus 4 is 1, 3 minus 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1 is 0.
0. So here we go on the abracadabra. The calculations work out perfectly with each other. 11, 11, which is your 22, and also the calculations on the bottom are also 11, 11, which is 22. Yeah.
And you know, I have
But
no
all
idea
calculations around the whole thing go to 0.
Go to 0 just outside the clock, and it's 14 calculations out. Of 14 is 7, and 2 7s is a pyramid if they're mirrored back together again. So then obviously on the rest of them here on the 2 to 8 line, as you calculate out, it goes 22, 22 and out, 22 and out, 22 and out, 22 and out. So you got another cross that comes through, 22, 22, 22, 22. Yeah. Well, and then on
top and
bottom is 12 and out, which is sorry, 6 6 and 6 6 at the bottom, and 3 3 and 0 and 3 3 and 0. Yeah, 3 3 is massive. Is that got something to do with Masons and stuff? 3 3.
Yeah.
Well, here's your 3 3 and out, 3 3 and out on your 180 line on there. Yeah. Because when I calculated the bottom, I just because don't forget, all I'm doing is doing calculations of what we got taught originally and just carrying it on. Bottom of that page, you've got 4 11s, which is 44, as out. You got 4 22s, which is 888, and then you got 2 33s, 66, and you got 2 6s. When you add them two, when you add all them totals up, lo and behold, 330, 330, and 330 on your 180 line.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Yeah, you were on about the 6 as well ago, for all the 6s. Where has the 666 come into this? Does it come into it?
Yes. Well, the 4 calculations out.
For 6s all the way around the clock.
Balance. You probably see that better on the other one.
I can see it quite
yeah, bring back to the one.
Okay.
This is why me personally, 666 has been hijacked to be a bad thing.
Yes.
Like the number 13.
Yes. All of them have.
Like the number 13. Yeah. All being hijacked.
Lots
there you go.
of things have been hijacked.
Yeah.
Right, can you see?
Can you see that? Can you see that, William?
I still see the same clock. Yeah.
The same clock.
Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think 666 is a very powerful number, and they know
Massive.
it. So they've inverted it, haven't they? At the end of the day, and made it. So it's like, oh my god!
So
the
this
sign
shows.
of
You see
Satan.
the pink sphere. It's got 6s all the way around it. I can't. My mouse doesn't work on this for some reason.
I've done it.
No.
So on the outside of the sphere of where it's pink,
where it's baby pink, it's all 6s all the way around the whole clock.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
that's taking that's all that is subtracting the highest from the lowest. Four subtractions out, it goes 6 6 6 6 6 all the way around. And as I say, there's no such thing as coincidence. You know, and they've used that 666 for what they want to use it for, to make you fear and stay away from it. And that's why it's written in
number 13. Yeah,
the number 13. It's like lucky for some. Well, we must be the lucky ones then, because like I don't fear it. It's not, but I know full well there's building sites out there that will not have number 13 on a building site.
Yeah, they won't in hotel rooms either. Some hotels don't have a room 13, do they?
They don't have a floor 13.
That's crazy.
Allegedly.
But here again, you see, it's putting it into the psyche of your head that because they won't put it in, it's something to fear. And it's like the police is 999, which is 666 upside down. So back like I said before, back in the day on an old phone, it was the furthest away all the time. So you're trying to ring somebody up, and it was the furthest dial back, which didn't make sense. It should be like 111, or even back in the day, because it was the shortest phone ring back, but it's the furthest away. But here again, it's 666. But I was talking to Amy today about nuts and bolts. Yeah, I always think, I don't know, it's just the way I'm made up, but I always think of nuts and bolts. So I always look at everything as the Meccano set, and that Meccano set is a pile of scrap unless you put the nuts and bolts in it.
Yeah.
So once you can make anything you want with the nuts and bolts, you take nuts and bolts out, and the whole thing collapses. Yeah. You can have a Formula 1 racing engine which is like tuned to almost destruction, but you remove the nuts and bolts, it's a pile of scrap.
And you know how I said it's within our DNA? I was just looking at it, and I'm thinking of the blueprint. It's not just the blueprint of our DNA, but it's like the blueprint of our future. I know that, I don't know, does that sound weird to everybody?
It does to me. Yeah, it does to me.
We really do feel like it's kept us safe with everything that we've been doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because one thing we must, I know I'll go over again, the banking thing we did in 2002, 2003, when we took on the fake mortgages and how they was doing it, and the banks that was involved.
And we had evidence against everybody, the banks,
how they did it,
the land registry, the law society, the ombudsman,
Crown,
the solicitors,
the
courts, the Westminster, everybody.
The whole lot. And just to let people know, that was in 2002, 2003, when you had to go toe to toe, write a letter and take a letter. So we met these people face to face in courts. We met them in the streets. We met them everywhere. And believe me, the ones that at that particular time that we was dealing with, they're not people.
They were not to be feared.
They weren't to be feared. They were scared to fucking death of you.
I know that.
They are such a bag of
wimps. Absolutely. They were absolutely cacking themselves.
Shitting it.
And this is bearing in mind when we were up against all that.
Yeah.
You worked away all week.
Yeah.
And only came back at weekends. So I was in that house on my own.
Yeah.
All week, every week. Not once did I ever fear for my life. Not once.
No.
And we were upsetting so many people.
Proper.
The thought just occurred to me there, right? You're dealing with, I'm sorry, Lucy and Juicy, I know that's not your names, but I don't, that's the only thing I can go by. So you deal...
It's all we know as now, isn't it?
You deal a lot with, with the higher up, but a lot of it is here based on Morris and terra firma here.
Yeah.
You deal with, I deal on the opposite side. I deal with up there most of the time. Oh, not mostly, all of the time. So I know what this other crowd are like, and as soon as you go into fear of them, they're on you. When you don't fear them, they're scared shitless of you. Pardon my friend.
They
proper.
They're proper, like almost the wimps. Proper wimps.
Proper wimps.
And Tesla
shaking in their boots, they were.
Yeah. He says if mankind understood the mystery of the 3, 6, and the 9, they would understand the mysteries of the universe.
I get that.
I'm working with Tesla at the minute.
Yeah. If you add up 3, 6, and the 9, you get 18. So 1 and 8 is 9.
Yeah.
That 9 will multiply ad infinitum, right out to eternity. You'll always come back.
Infinity plus one forever.
Yes, for 9. It'll come out at 9. I discovered. Do you know how I discovered that myself? I live in Cork, and I had to go into Dublin for the weekend, and I was staying at this hotel, and it turned out it was an old Masonic hotel. Well, it's more of a Masonic school. And I stood outside the front of the building and I was looking up, and it was a brick building, an old, what was a 17, maybe 1800 style building. And it was all brick. And in the brick, the center of the brick, was a motif made from the brick itself. And it had 1818. And now anybody passing would say, oh, that was built in 1818. And I was looking, I said, if I know the Masons, they were up to something with this number. So I said,
I've seen that on the building before.
1A, is it 9?
1 8 1 8.
9. I said, 9 and 9 is 18. 1 8 is 9. And I'm going, 1 8 is 9. And I said, this could go on for eternity.
Yeah.
They were showing it to you in your face, which they're obliged to do.
Yeah.
But they were showing it to you.
I've seen that somewhere on a building as well.
I've always said as well,
so
99 is a direct line. Don't know what it means, but 99 is the direct line.
Yes.
It even sounds right, but you see, it's all your 9s again. You see, the permutations of 9.
Yeah.
That 72.
Well,
you see,
369, isn't it?
Yeah, and you got in there. You got 12 times 6, which is 72, and 72 is 9. It's 9 again, and it just keeps on going on and on and on.
I done a video yesterday, and again I was speaking about the 122, and I didn't realize yesterday was the 22nd.
Yeah.
So where the 22nd keeps popping up.
Yeah.
And I put in, when I kept getting this 122, I thought, what is this 122 I keep getting? And
I keep getting the same numbers.
Hey, you'll be like, you should look at the next one. I said, I put it into gematria. And
oh my.
And I get, oh crap. I won't give away the secret. I'm sure Terry will see it. It'll come up. But William came up. And who I am also came up. It's basically 3. So who I really am.
It does.
Does it? Did you check it?
Yeah, we
wow.
We long time ago in Facebook, we look at it, William, and it's also a code for Lily as well.
Yeah, William is code for Lily.
Lily.
Oh, Lilith.
I put it in
Lily.
the calculator a while back, and it came up that you were.
Come on, boobless or Shell Oil.
I never registered until you just said that.
Remember that at school?
Shell oil. Shell oil.
Oh, Shell oil or boobless. That's all I got on a calculator.
Oh yeah, Shell oil. I remember that.
Sorry, Terry.
Oh yeah. Stupid boy. Okay. Yeah.
That's as far as I got with a calculator.
I tell you,
I don't know how to do the calculator. It's a message for me. It's not about the numbers. It's about even the abracadabra code. The numbers I cannot understand them. But what it is for me is it's a message. I see the words other than the numbers. Like I'll get the message like what I said, it's a DNA code, it's in our DNA, and then it's also a map for our future. That's what I get whenever I look at it. When you guys are all like calculating all these numbers, like I'm not a mathematician here. I'm like Albert Einstein, I've never been good at math, but I know everything else. I can put it all together. But this, I see it. It's like weird. And then my husband doesn't even like really follow us. And like I said last week, he goes, "Where's the blue?" Because I showed him the clocks for the first time. So I was like, "Whoa!" When you guys said. You showed the picture with the red and blue in it. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, see, we spoke about this before. When we've been on our travels before, I've seen red boxes and then everything hangs in these red boxes. And then the house next door and all the other houses, they're all suspended from them. So it is like a matrix. And the red boxes, and then all the houses move around when we're on travel.
They're all separate, move separate to each other.
And you can connect.
And all the plants as well, the trees. And
you can push them out of the way and move them out of the way. And they're all bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. It's like a Snoop Doggy video. And all the houses are bouncing because
it's like they're all puppets on
yeah.
So
and it must be the matrix.
Is it we're the ones that actually join them up?
What was that? Sorry?
You say the houses were hanging down and kind of floating around.
Yes.
Whereas we perceive them as solid and together. Are we the ones that actually putting them together?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, that's what I'll talk about later on. I mean, it's like a lot of the journeys we've been on, and all I do is talk about the journeys that we've been on, just to share that experience. Because why would we go on? Why would we go on? Because this is a physical journey we go on. Like we're sitting here talking, it's a physical.
I know what you're saying. It just dawned on me what you're saying.
I love you, William. Oh,
we don't meditate or anything like that.
Yeah. No, I just because I actually spoke about this yesterday. The reason what you are seeing, it just dawned on me. What you are seeing is what we're creating. What everybody is creating. We are putting it out there.
That's a bigger picture.
It's where and I spoke about it. I said, it's where the creators, whatever we think goes out.
Oh yeah.
It is manifested. It is there somewhere. It's out there. Every single thing that we've ever thought of goes out. What we think is what we create, and that goes out. How it was done is that you remember when you were young, or even still, if you're daydreaming, right? I mean, what? And you're standing there and you're looking out. What do people say about it? Look at him. He's in another world. You actually are in another world.
I used to get told off all the time for that.
You're creating and you're putting everything out there. So the houses are someone's creation who thought them up. Like say you take an architect or somebody like that. Yeah, I designed the house.
We can move them, can't we?
We can move them. Okay, you can look with your eyes and push them with your mind and push them out the way.
That's what you're saying. That is what you're picking up on.
Yeah.
Everyone's thought. And they are all creation.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because now the energy guys, because just a quick bit of history with him. When I was younger, I was born with, they call it a gift now, but I seen it as like worse than that, because I had visitations. I had visitations coming to me all the time. I had energies, all different energies coming to me, right from 1, 2, 3, right up to the age of, I don't know, 12, 13, 14. That's why I had to sleep with the light on, because it deferred my light for them finding me constantly. So when I was younger, I was taken to, this is pre-psychics, when you went to see a medium, a proper old school
psychic
guy.
But you can't call a psychic anymore. That's not the nice word.
They used to be called mediums years ago. So the mediator in between the two worlds. That's what I think. Yeah. And they put a gold ring around me to protect me from evil or good coming to me while I was younger, until obviously I was able to sort of like take control of it. But it's a fear that we all had it. Well, I did as a child. So you run away from it because you're not in control of it. So you just seen it, this fear of all these energies coming. Obviously, and I know it's for help, or it's us finding the self. But that when you're a young child, you don't know about, because I'm going back 50 years when all this was in its infancy, and you're just classed as the local idiot because you had these visitations. Where now it's seen as a. Do you know what I mean? Did you have the same thing? You're just classed as a local idiot. Blah blah blah.
Stop talking about it.
Because I was good at hiding it.
Because nobody
I was good at hiding it.
Yeah, I used to I did in later life.
Yeah, I like to go in my own little bubble.
Yeah, and it is a fear that's in here, because as a child, you've got all these things going on, and no one understands what's going on. No one understands what you see, and you're on your own. Yeah, so it is like an inner fear of understanding it. But within later life, with going into the clubbing world, and then obviously you've got different sort of recreationals, all it did was reopen them channels up for me to re-see what was on the outside. To go and address what the problem is, or learn about it. So I've always had it. It's not a psychosis because I've gone clubbing. It's something that I was born with. You
weren't born and leave it for nothing, you know. There was a reason you were born.
Well, exactly.
You were born and leave it because leave it is balance. You bring balance to everything.
Everybody else thinks we're like this, but we're not. We're like this. I mean, even just look, steady hands.
Don't ask me to do that.
Like a surgeon's hands, I'll be all right, So with sort of like later life, that's when all this stuff has come to me, because obviously it's a part of my life that I run away from as a child because I had that fear of it. But within later life, it was a case of taking it on and opening the doors up and accepting that. Because of the fear of it, the fear of every time you go to sleep, there's somebody standing there. Every time it was there. But within later life, I've realised not to fear from it. And then when we go on our travels, we deal with the energy guys, which are absolutely awesome. They can create anything that they want. They can 1 minute be standing here, and the next minute they could be like holding the sky up above us, or giants, or this or that, or just for like fucking about and turning into a snake just to try and scare you. Because it's all about having fun with the universe and humour. I've taught that it's all about humour and fun.
Yeah, and humour is a big thing. Yeah.
Oh, humour. Humour is.
Yeah. Humour.
Hasn't made a resurgence, but like proper humour, not that stupid humour that's all chewed up and masticated for you. It's, pea brain humour. I don't like that. But I love really excellent, witty humour and crafty humour.
You're in the right place.
Silly humour, like doofy shit that we used to laugh at, that you'd laugh so raucously, like, laughs when they roll out like a beautiful soft wave, but they're nearly hysterical and uncontrollable as well. Those laughs you had.
Yeah. Belly laugh. Yeah. Belly laugh.
Before frustration fit in and before all of the bullshit, vibrations were in us that constantly keep colouring or changing how we see things. Whereas now the humour's coming back to where we can laugh at like really silly shit. Small shit.
Yeah.
They come out of it as if you've laughed some medicine into yourself,
I used to pride myself on going to a house party. I would absolutely rip into myself before anybody else. And then nobody would challenge you because you're prepared to take the piss out of yourself to that extent. No one dare challenge you.
Like do you know what I mean? If I walk into a room full of people that I had never met before, and I'd walk in, and how people turn around to see who's coming in. I say, okay, don't stand up. You can keep sitting down. You're okay. You don't have to. Need to stand up. Of course, that breaks the ice straight away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Look at each other. The ice is broken. So you may as well get it over with,
That's how I used to be, innit? And then nobody would challenge you, which was quite disappointing, really, because I'm there for humour.
When you're like that,
I'm there to have a laugh. But everybody else is like, dead serious. And I said that a long time ago. I said, you know what the first signs of the co thing is?
Yeah.
And then people say, what's that? I go, lack of sense of humour. And they're like, oh God, fucking hell. Well, there you go, you've definitely fucking got it.
I don't know if you guys know this, but the more connections we make, like Mr. William, you guys feel it? Things feel different since we've connected with another star, William. I won't say Starseed anymore. Thank you, William. Anyway,
stars, I actually gave a very good. I spoke on that in the last one. Yeah, you can have a look and you'll see. I put in the final piece of that little puzzle, and usually you'd be interested in what I came up with. Also, I think that you're right up your alley.
Yeah.
So it's in the. It should be released in the next day or so. Whenever.
Oh, wicked!
Oh,
I always talk is that all of us are location stars, and that's why we're all over the planet, because we're all location stars, locking everything into place.
Yes.
Well, what I've discovered about the two of you, though, is and that you're actually seeing what is that the human being is creating, what they're thinking. You guys are seeing it and fooling around with it, in other words.
Oh God, yeah.
Don't break anything.
And what is, we'll talk about how we got to this, or when we've been on our travels, we was, if you can imagine, we're all the same.
Are these shamanic travels? Are these shamanic travels, or what are they?
These are physical travels. These are it
happens around
us, and we see it, and we have to deal with it.
Whatever room we're in, it happens in that room.
In that room,
or outside the room.
Like we're sitting here talking to you now, it happens when we deal with it in a physical realm, with the energy around us as we're dealing with it. And this is why I wanted to talk to people on the internet to see if anybody else goes through the same thing as us. Yes, we do take whatever we take. Yeah, nothing nasty, because look, we look quite fit for our age, don't we? You know what I mean? So, but what it does is...
How old are you? 86, is it?
Something like that. 92, thank you very much. And a half.
Well, the half is very important. The half.
No, yeah, no teeth, therefore.
Yeah, it's
but the thing is, we're all a lot older than what we think. And I kept saying to people, you've got to realise how old you really are. You think you're 52. Yeah. You think you're 52 years old, or 42 years, or whatever. You're not. You're billions of light years old. Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
Billions of light years.
Look good for our age.
So, yeah. Look good for our age, aren't we?
So everybody thinks in this realm. Yeah, but we're and this is what I've heard you talk about, the rule of one, and it makes sense. We get shown that we all come from the original source energy, so we're all individual ones of the same energy, but individual ones.
Yes.
And that rule of one, it all makes sense because it all comes from the original energy source.
yes.
So we're all we are. I call it flower coding. We've all got our own flower coding within the universe. We're all individual flowers, but of the same original flower. Probably the best way of putting it.
The lotus flower, yeah.
The lotus flower, yeah. So we dealt with a lot of that on our travels, but one of the things,
smoke quite a bit of it as well.
Smoke and that and that cups of tea with the stuff as well.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice actually.
Yeah,
Thank you, Judith.
It is.
Thank you, Judith. Yeah.
It's
you
tasty.
Can buy it, you can smoke it, you can drink it.
Smoke it, drink it.
It's a bit
What
expensive.
is it?
Lotus flower.
Tell William I'll take his address and send him a sachet on.
Oh, I will. You'll be having lotus flower.
Is this legal? Is this legal?
Yeah.
I don't bother with it so much. Legal and no good.
It smells beautiful.
It smells gorgeous.
It smells like
it's quite bitter in
marzipan. I
drink,
think it smells like.
Yeah, so almost like a tree called marzipan.
Yeah.
Almost like a what?
Marzipan, I think it smells like.
I love marzipan, Eddie.
Yeah, I love marzipan. Oh my God.
Oh,
William, I can get a block of marzipan and eat all to myself.
Love it.
My wife done tons and tons of baking, and the amount of marzipan wedding cakes, when she starts making wedding cake and marzipan, I'm away with the marzipan.
I'm saying marzipan. I love marzipan.
What?
Isn't it?
I do too.
I'll buy a big block of it.
Marzipan, Jesus, yeah.
But see if this makes sense to anybody. It's like when we started the travels, or when we was involved with what was going on around us, or seeing the sort of like different universes or different ideas of how to put a universe together, or what it was. We got shown that the room that we was in was the only place wasn't relevant to and from any stars hitting it. So it was shown to us that we're the ancient builder race originally of who we are, and we'd run out of room to build the next lot of universes in. So the builder race hasn't gone missing. It's us having to clear everything out and reinvent ourselves to strip out the old universes to carry on. So
can I ask you a question real quick? Are we like a cast off of, are we the cast off of the Weavers because we're the builders? Are we like
yeah,
a
the Weavers
better
is an energy, yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, the Weavers are lovely things.
Can I just say something?
They knit the universe
sorry.
together.
Are you live? But are you recording as well as live?
Am I recording or as well as live?
Oh, no, we haven't got record on.
Well, it's saying it's live.
Oh, it's recording now, yeah.
Did it go live, did it?
It's live. It's
on
live
YouTube,
still,
aren't we?
yeah.
Yeah,
it's live.
It is
Yeah.
now.
We're all right.
We're like, oh my God, we've got to start again.
Okay.
Better stay, because if you want him to put it on, then yeah.
What was shown to us, and we was talking to Amy about this the other day, and has it made a difference for you, Amy, since we had that chat?
Which one?
Yeah. Just a good one, yeah.
Which chat?
Amy. Which one? So what about the relevant to and from boxes?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh damn it! I missed that because I had to go to town.
You went shopping and shopping.
Oh, she's so lucky.
Yeah, it was a good chat.
Okay, Amy, tell them about your
it was a good. So what it was on the start of our a long time ago, we were shown that the box that we was in was the only place that wasn't relevant to and from anything else within space. So if a star energy can touch where you are, it means you're relevant to and from. So
all the rest of it.
So because with the way that we used to build universes, or the way that the universes were built in the past, so if you can imagine, every star is an individual universe, and there's a so every star is an individual universe, and each one of them universes is a parallel box, and each one of them stars is exactly the same as all the other stars relevant to and from each other. So the weak spot was that if one of them ever went wrong, then it all goes wrong, because we're all relevant to and from the original boxes. So what we got shown was there was a box created around us, which was, I called it relevant to and from whatever we fucking want box. Yeah. So we could talk and the energies was coming to us, was trying different things within the box. But then what it was shown to me, that the biggest fear of the universe was relevant to and from where we've been before. Because each one of them stars is a universe and parallel box to where we are. So it's a subconscious fear that we've all had, or worry by thinking out of the box or doing anything different could bring space and time around us, which might be where people get OCD from. They have to do things in a repetitive order, otherwise the universe around them collapses. It's a subconscious fear of relevant to and from boxes, and then boxes are universes, and the universes that we've been part of in previous lives through the whole of space and time. And it was almost shown to us that we'd run out of room, and to change the future for redesigning different universes, the old relevant to and from boxes had to be rechanged and taken out. And I think so. I was shown from where we were in a box, say like in the living room, that's the box. Outside of that room was the last ever relevant to and from box that brought us in. So from that box, I just went back to the first ever relevant to and from box, wherever it was in the universe. Now, where it is, the first one, we coded that box relevant to and from whatever we fucking want box. And then, of course, that automatically, because they're all relevant to and from each other, we coded all the boxes relevant to whatever we want, breaking us free from the confines of the old relevant to and from. Can't think outside the box because space and time is all relevant to it. And if one of those boxes go, we go with it. So it's almost like we've all had to reinvent ourselves, as a brand new physical being and energy and all new energies, so we can shut down the old space and time.
Let's just do this mission and get it over with. We don't want to reinvent ourselves. Let's just do this mission.
Exactly.
Because I know everybody, they're complaining. They're like, can we get off planet? Can we go? No. Shut up. You asked for this mission, okay? Enjoy the ride. Don't get all pissy. Oh my God. Yes, everything sucks.
But so then what we were so then what happened was, from the first box to the last box, no matter how many boxes there was, I then pulled the boxes in from the last one to the first one into our room.
What's in that box?
I've got to pass the box. What would you want? I've got to pass another box, but it's not a box. It's Quality Street.
Oh, give us one. Throw one over.
No, there's no.
We might get a free box in the
no marzipan then.
No, it's got filters.
It's got filters in it.
Oh,
filters and pens.
So the thing was, with this relevant to and from boxes, I pulled all the rest of the boxes into us. Boom, 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 boom. And then we could recreate within that relevant to and from box as relevant to and from whatever we want boxes. And as far as I know, the universes are absolutely massive, and it's designed for space travel and enjoying starships and everything else. And it's all about space travel and reinventing ourselves in the future. That's the take that I get from it. And we got shown.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And I also believe
and no longer being in confines of limitations.
Yeah. And on the old way that we used to build things or was involved with something, we was embedded into the starship. So then we manifest ourselves into the starship. But this one is where we stand as a physical, and the starship builds itself around us, and the universe builds itself around us. So we're not stuck within the confines of being sort of manifested out of the starship into the starship. It manifests around us because we're trapped within our own. Well, it's like a disaster of our own success, if you know what I mean. We're trapped within it.
That sounds scary.
Wait, can I
the old way does. The old way was the old way. We was
a ticking time bomb.
We was trapped within it, so we couldn't. We were trapped within our own confines. But now,
and if one thing went
boom,
tits up, it would have all gone.
So then, because we're all individual ones of the same one, but have a different sort of flower coding or star coding, so the stability of the universe is individuality. Where before the stability of the universe was all one, but if anything goes wrong with one, we all sort of like pay the price of that. So we're all one, but individual ones of the one, which then creates stability within the universe. That's the way it got shown to us, or how we free ourselves from the confines of it, because we was trapped within nature. We was trapped within. But the nice thing about what we got shown is like nature and everything now is like, and Mother Nature is like, we all look after that now. Instead of it being a living force on the outside and we've been all part of it, it's like it's all come together as one. So we all look after it. And then Judy said to me last week, what's it all about? And I said, the way I see it is like we've built all these beautiful universes for billions of light years, but the energies want to walk upon them and feel what they feel like as a physical being
and
live them, not as an energy. And I says, I think all of this really is creating this whole brand new physical to enjoy the universes that the energy creates, and it lives it through us and we live it through it.
Yeah.
It's almost like the consciousness of the universe is creating this physical consciousness of the universe. So the physical lives what the universe feels. So it all feels the same thing. We're all part of the same thing, isn't it? We're a physical consciousness of the universe. The consciousness of the universe lives through us, but then it all becomes one, because the consciousness of the universe has got a physical presence through us out there. So
exactly.
it all becomes one. Does that make sense, William?
Yeah, absolute spot on.
Well, doesn't universe
Thank God for that.
Absolute. That's a cracker. That's a cracker, that one.
I gotta say, Tuesday, you gotta have a drink before every episode.
Would you mind repeating all that again?
I've seen the video. We are recording, aren't we?
Yeah, that was great.
I don't know if you got my message. I don't know if you got my message, but if anybody wants to record it, they can go onto the live and then they can go back to the beginning of it and screen record it. If anyone wants to do that. I don't know how much we missed.
I've got a right sweat on after that one.
Oh,
it's hard. The thing is, like, and I explain it to these lot. Once you stop thinking like a human, but think like a space traveler, all of a sudden everything starts to make sense a lot easier because you're looking at it differently on a different plane. If you try and work,
for you, right? Here's a question for you. Did you know all that just before you spoke?
Yeah. Well, I knew of it. That's the first time I've spoke about it.
Did it all just come as you were speaking?
Yeah. Some of it comes as I'm speaking. Some of it we've touched on in our journeys. As when we're in there with the energies and we're working with the energies. But like it's like that's the first time I've actually put it out there.
There you go.
Of our backstories of what really happens.
Yeah, and I understand it perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
And we never
absolute perfect. Yeah.
We haven't got a clue what we're going to talk about until we go live. And
that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We don't. I mean, you would think it was rehearsed, but it is not. Cheryl has been on with us for the last like three weeks, maybe. I don't know, maybe more. I don't know. I feel like we've known her forever. Judith has been with us from the beginning. Same thing. We just like boom on it. We just know what we're talking about, and half of us didn't even know what the fuck we were talking about in the beginning, but we knew what we were fucking talking about. You know what I'm saying?
It's like everyone goes, what are we going to talk about? So, I don't know. Every time before we press that button, I have a mind block, and it's like because
I used to do that too. Yeah, when I do my lives, I actually had to do a whole thing and write it down in this big calendar and all my topics.
We ain't got that.
Otherwise,
I can just about remember to switch.
Record. You know, as the conversation goes, it's like all the energy is leading you into a conversation to have a chat. You know what I mean? So I just go with it to where it goes to. You know what I mean?
Flow, yeah.
I've been sitting there at the weekends.
We can't plan anything.
No.
It never works.
We go on a journey at the weekend, and I was spout on for like 90 hours about something. And she'll go, why didn't you tell me that before? And I went, I didn't know until now. Because it just floods in. It just comes in.
I know the feeling. I know the
feeling. Actually,
yeah.
Spontaneity is the one thing. If you think
randomness,
the synchronization as well, it's the one thing I think. You know, like the powers that be or the powers that were.
We are the powers that be.
Always trying to.
Yeah, and this. Sorry, Shelby. Good day.
Hello.
Keep moving, everybody. Keep moving.
About what they think, how they feel. Yep. So it's a difficult platform for some people to come from. Spontaneity. Some people want to think about shit. Well, actually, most people don't want to think is the problem. But I think people like things thought out for them. They go, you do the thinking and give it back to me in bullet point, and then I'll take that thought on for myself. Whereas this group of people and, millions of others, we're way more interested in, I'll do my own fucking thinking, I'll do my own surmising, and I'll choose what's important or not important to myself rather than allowing some external force to choose for you. It's like going, someone eating and pre-eating your food for you every day and spitting it back on a plate and going, here you go, get your nourishment.
That's gross.
Right on.
But that's where a lot of stuff is, isn't it? A lot of humour is like that too.
But it's true. I mean, like I thought, I always think in nuts and bolts. You know, what I mean, that's just about my makeup. I just look at nuts and bolts. And I was talking earlier, weren't I, about the Bible or the Bible, whatever you want to call it. The Bible, Babble, Bibble, whatever.
Same thing.
Oh my goodness! When William was talking about the Bible, I was like, "Hey, brother from another mother."
Oh, I'm a big fan of that.
What, the Bible?
A big fan.
But the thing is,
the
Bible, the Bible dribble. But I used to always say, because I always looked at nuts and bolts, within that story, there's how do you make a physical being or a special being, within that story that they've got. So it was the case of, obviously, Christ died on the cross, which is funny because he was 33 years old at the time.
Yes.
Which is 33, which comes into that clock.
Yes.
Yeah, and 33 is one of the Mason signs. So it all ties in. So it's like, well, if you're gonna write a story, it's like, well, how are we gonna write a story? Well, okay, what we'll do is he's gonna be sacrificed, and then he's gonna be reborn, which is Easter or whatever, and then walk the earth again, which is it's reincarnation. So basically it's symbolizing reincarnation of one particular individual. The only thing is, every church doesn't believe in reincarnation, and the reason is why. If you have reincarnation, there's no such thing as heaven and hell, so the whole story falls to pieces.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that's me with nuts and bolts. It's like I look at the story and it doesn't make sense. It's like, they can't have heaven and hell with reincarnation, but the whole story's been written with reincarnation or being reborn. So it doesn't make sense. So that's what I mean by nuts and bolts. You take the nuts and bolts out, you got your Meccano set, and it just falls to pieces.
See, if you were, I mean, I haven't gone to that type of university. I went to technical college. But if we went to, let's say, like Oxford or Stanford or any of those, we wouldn't be speaking here today.
No.
We'd be indoctrinated. Our brains would be mushed.
We wouldn't tolerate any of this thing.
Yeah. I never liked school. I never.
Who's that? Who's that? Put your hand up.
Sport. I love sport.
I was the biggest class clown who would distract the teacher with a friend that was like me, and the teacher would be.
Was an asshole, an oppressive asshole.
I think we all experienced the same thing, did we?
Yeah.
We all go through the same stuff.
Yeah. Sounds like it, doesn't it?
It was fun to break the rules.
Angry, pissy little.
That's what I came up with.
I didn't come here to follow the rules. I think they purposely didn't they pick every worst person in the world to be a teacher back in the day. I think because they were all like,
most of them had collars on.
They were awful.
Yeah. Dog collar. Dog collar.
Yeah.
And everywhere. It's always about dulling someone's shine. They're always dulling someone's shine. Doesn't matter what it is. If you're great singing or talking, or
if you notice, right?
Push you down.
If you notice a lot of what I refer to as the talking heads, if you look at what is creeping back into the conversation, is a lot of this, what did you call it? Bible, Babble?
The Bible.
Just that to reintroduce all this back into the conversation. Introducing all the old stuff back in. The old dogma stuff. The old religion. And we don't want that. We're trying to get away from that. We are, but it's all been brought back in. It appears to be a double agenda going on there with these people. All of them. There's one in particular who was big into it. speaking about the old times and what God did this, they did this, and God did that. God didn't do any of those things.
Yep.
No.
No.
But it's been brought back in, and everybody's speaking about it now. Oh, Jesus is going to come
there
and
you're
save
trying to
us all.
rehash.
You know, crying out loud. I just go bananas when I hear all that crap.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
We do.
treated me badly.
I mean, we spoke about it before, and the way we see it, or the way that it's been, how I perceive it, is that on our because we're having to reinvent ourselves, and we're having to do a lot of everything before the old space and time is collapsed. So we've got new toys for the future and space travel and everything. Where we're already we're already there. It's an expanding future. This is the physical. And we live in the present opens, and then the expanding future already there, and then present changes around us, which is beautiful because it's a positive expanding future. And I think there's a lot of like troublesome aliens or troublesome different beings from around the universe that we gave our physical form to while I was doing other stuff, brought them here, embedded them into this planet and say, look, you're special because you've been born in this, and give them that sort of that God line, and give them this, and give them make them, and don't destroy it, and don't this and don't that. And they still have, and they still want to destroy the whole fucking planet and universe and everything in it. We've given them technology and they've used it for wrong. They want to use it for making bombs and blowing things up, where they could use this technology for sorting this universe out. They're obsessed. They're spending billions and billions of pounds, infinity, to go to a planet where they can't breathe, instead of spending that money to sort this one out before you're allowed to go anywhere else. Why is the universe going to let you go anywhere else until you sort this one out first? So the amount of money that they spend to fly somewhere where they can't breathe, where you can breathe here, but they want to destroy it. And it don't make it.
It's proper bonkers.
It's proper bonkers. It does not
make sense to them, though. It makes sense to them because they love chaos. Chaos makes sense.
Destroying, and also it did fit in with the nuts and bolts of these alien races or these beings that have been brought here, and they're trying to escape and get out of the inevitable. What's going to happen because they're so negative. Yeah. And time is running out. Yes. This is maybe what the because we're not judge and jury because we're too biased because we already know what these twats are like. But but the universe has a time clock, and they've got so long to prove themselves, and time is either ran out or it's running out.
See, they're aware of it just as well as we are.
So it's William.
I find it's like an old wheel that's slowing down, the old times, and then us, everything, humanity resetting itself and heading in a direction of choice rather than a direction of oppression and slavery. Yeah. So as that one slows down, and this is what you say, Juicy, about using up all of the negative energy so they can bring the new. So I think as one slows down, their wheel is slowing down and they're shitting themselves.
And they know it. They know it.
Yeah, they know it.
They know it. Yeah, their time's done.
Well, why would they be censoring every fucking thing that's bright and new?
This is their last stand. This one. This is their last
this
stand.
is it.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is it.
And they're fucked and they know it.
Yeah.
And we're just getting more momentum in the correct direction. Yeah. But we're doing the momentum in such a way that it self-propels itself. When people watch a video like this, what do? They end up like us. I mean, they self-propel into feeling good. Yeah. So so people like us, we just keep the ball rolling, right? For other people, because there's the doers and then there's the followers, right? There's always going to be that proportion.
You got masters and servants, haven't you?
Yeah. And once you start pushing a ball around or a circle or whatever, or momentum, once you start once you start making things happen, then the followers come and they keep pushing and they keep pushing and they keep it going. And we're the people that start momentum in our areas. And then what happens is from there, like I was getting my hair done yesterday at a friend's place, and a woman that I've seen before quite a few times, a few years older than me. Hey? Anyway, so she was saying, I remember you said, what did you say?
Carry on. Carry on. I was just being cheeky.
He was being very cheeky.
He was.
I don't know where we get it from. I'm not.
Over my head.
Sorry for jumping in every so often, but I want to ask a serious question of everybody.
Sorry, Amy was talking about that earlier.
I was just having a laugh.
I've missed all of it. Let me turn my sound up. What?
You got
Amy, you and Amy were talking earlier, weren't you? About sitting in this like Buddha pose, cross-legged, and they're like,
we can't do that.
They says we can't sit like that. I says no, but you can get your fucking ankles behind your ears.
So let me ask all of you a question, right? Have any of you been psychically or psychically attacked?
No.
Yeah.
No. The vast majority have not. Even now.
I'll say I have.
No. Even now.
In the past.
In the past, but anybody of lately?
No, no.
There's nobody
not
been interfered with lately, is there?
No.
Anybody?
Mind you, having said that, this morning when I was waking up, I started going to sleep paralysis, but I got out of it quickly.
Same thing happened to me 2 weeks ago, but I knew what it was about. I didn't know, but that was me trying to get back into my body. I knew what that one was. But I was just curious, have they given up trying to interfere with us?
Yeah, I reckon.
No, not for me. I find though, because I know what's going on, I can't even say like hundreds of times a day, I just say, get out of my head. Because I know that there's entities running around whether they stick a straw in and start sucking stuff out or putting stuff in. But there's an attempt to push me in the direction where my mind movie, instead of being a happy thought, that it goes to a fucking bad thought, like bad things like falling downstairs or poking your eye with a fucking fork, or I don't know, a child falling off the balcony. These awful fucking thoughts that you think, where does this shit come from? I don't think this shit. So what I realized was there's always a fork in the road, right? You're having a really good thought, you're wandering around, you're enjoying the thought because that's how it works in our minds. But then at a blink, there's a fork in the road. Next thing you're imagining all of this awful shit. And then I think I'm like this now, and I'm like, get out of my head. And then I immediately I have three go-tos, three good thoughts. I have three good thoughts. I can just immediately start thinking these thoughts, and then it just brings your vibration up. It cuts off that negative shit. So that's the only attacks I can tell you that I have. I mean, I do sense stuff around me, but I think it's just is that because you is that because you live in Australia, which is a hub of negativity at this present moment? Oh, isn't it, eh? Isn't it? That's actually, I think that shocked a lot of Australians to think that because we're so fucking laid back here. We're so, I mean, we still get on with life. I mean, we don't just sort of let everything just breeze on by. I mean, we can like stand to attention and tell people to fuck off. There's this finger again. Just the mocking finger. To find out, that there's such corruption and such darkness. But then, let's face it, the more we learn, we realise that we're standing upon a crust. That underneath has so much darkness happening. So it's not really a locational thing anymore. It's just knowing that the entire everything that we stand on has been fucked over and flooded with so much darkness and I call it putrid evil vermin.
Here's a question then. Here's a question. If anybody can answer it. Have we fucked up?
No, not us.
They have. They have.
Have we allowed them? Have we allowed them to fuck up?
Yeah, I kind of think so in some ways, because you've got I think so.
We're the watchers.
I think you have to sometimes be used to realise complacency is not always your friend. And in a world of duality, right, up, down, good, bad, I think there's always going to be an element of something to push against, whether it's good or bad, or it's just a challenge, right? I think you can have a challenge, doesn't have to be bad, but you can have a challenge that forces you to get out of your comfort zone and stops being so fucking naive. And I that's what's happening now. Is we shouldn't stop our humanity, but we really need to be aware that if you're going to grow, you have to be responsible. And I think that's what's missing now is people don't want to be responsible for any fucking thing. A dog, a baby, a fucking house, you know, I mean, all this sort of stuff. When it's as simple as if you're being responsible for yourself, then you make a choice for yourself, you think for yourself, you do for yourself. And you look at humanity, they've been pushed to such a point where there's such the apathy and the lethargy and the, you know, what is it when you must...
Lack of consequences.
Lack of consequences.
Hang on.
People
This is
don't
why
seem
I
to know about
asked, have
consequences.
we, considering who and what we are, allowed things to go too far?
Well, don't you
without
think if it
interfering?
hadn't gone how it was, we wouldn't learn anything.
No,
We wouldn't have any soul growth,
Exactly.
would we? It'd be too easy. If we're all living in love and light, it'd be far too easy. So we wouldn't get soul growth.
I don't know. I think the dark has gone too far. That's what I think myself.
I agree.
We have allowed that to happen.
Well, our
we are
naivety has been used against us. Our gentleness
on them, I think we were very lenient because it's our nature. We're just lenient people because we're just running this life like everybody else, but all over again and what we're here for. But the other people, I do that quote because we know we're not anymore. We're not people. We're in a whatever suit. But
Juicy mentioned a word a while ago. I think I heard him saying it before, and he mentioned the watchers.
Yeah, with the watches.
Yeah. But in the law of one, they did mention the word watchers.
Yeah.
Did they?
They did.
Oh,
yes.
They said there were 3 groups overseeing what is going on now. There was the watchers, there was the angelics, and there was upstairs in the ships.
Yeah, Mum and Dad, I call them.
Yeah, but the watchers and the angelics were down here watching, helping out.
Yeah. And I was saying to you as well, weren't I? I said one of the biggest lessons is for Mother Nature to understand that not everything can be helped, and she's got to learn that no matter what happens, she can't nurture everybody because some are unnurturable.
But isn't that a parable? Isn't that like a parallel rather to what humans are right now? We need to learn that.
Exactly. She's learning a lesson as well, and the lesson is she can't judge everybody on her own nurturingness, if that's a word. Yeah, and she's having to learn a lesson that she's got to let go as well because she's Mother Nature's always wanting to nurture and to help and everything else. And I think she's learning a lesson that she got to the point, and it's almost like we're having to show all this to Mother Nature so she can go, I get it now. I understand that there's some beings or entities out there, no matter what you do, will destroy. So she's got to learn her lesson as well to let go and let them go, because there's only so much that she can do to nurture these people because they're just going to destroy.
You can't love the darkness out of people. You can't love the darkness out of society. No. And you also can't just accept it and hope that it'll just get in line and correct itself as we do. Good people try to quest to learn, to correct themselves, to become better. But you can't. Darkness has no fucking urge to become anything other than darker or more dense.
They feed off it.
A
double negative makes a positive, so it's a false positive.
Exactly. But I'm learning myself that there's a lot of darkness within myself. Like I didn't put it there. It's just like life smacks you up enough and that's what it turns into. But my view on things has had to sharpen up as well, where instead of just wanting to see the good in everybody and in everything, I've had to realize that I need to just see the darkness, people, family, whoever. I mean, the big and all of this C business is really, you know what I mean? People could have hidden their naivety and stupidity or ignorance and arrogance, whereas now it's out, you know what I mean? You're seeing it in people, you're hearing it, either they've got a view on one way or the other.
But you're all female, you see, the same as the universe. So same thing.
And
as she's learning, the females are also learning because you're a physical being of Mother Nature. So
and that's why I'm not.
It's like your learning is her learning, because it's that you're the physical consciousness of the universe. So it's all learning as one.
I can relate to that.
You know what I mean?
I'm just not. I don't make excuses anymore. I'm not keep on seeing the good when they're continuing to be a fucker.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of doing that, where you want to see the good in people, and we do. There's times when you can do it and the good comes out in someone. We've seen movies and we've seen real life. But in absolute truth, it's the one thing I needed to do to stop being so naive. And I don't consider myself a naive person. However, my actions and my process at accepting the shit or the irregularity or the hum under everything that is wrong, instead of just allowing it to be and going, oh, well, and being all peaceful about it. I'm like, all right, and fuck you. You can be dark, but you're out. But I'm gonna name it, and I don't have to fix it. I don't have to do anything other than accept it. I might not like it or agree with it. But I do accept it and go, all right, fine. And it's gone. It's not my fucking responsibility to try to fix every goddamn thing or to find a way to think about it that I can make it good or fairer. Am I being fairer or fair enough to people?
Yeah.
My learning
it's standing back.
Nope, it's turning off to that. It's just going, no, if you're a fucker, then you're a fucker.
I'll tell you what, William. I don't know if you heard it on our podcast, but one of the things that we had to deal with was an energy called a non-entity. It was a non-entity. So basically, it was a dark energy that feeds on light.
Black energy.
And it
a bit like black smoke,
almost like black smoke, and it came out of the floor. It wrapped itself around the light, and I remember going,
and it started pulsing and
getting bigger around the light. So I remember grabbing it, and I grabbed it, and I held it in both hands tight, and it was squealing like a pig. And I coded it and named it. And as it shot out from my hands, but I was still holding it, it shot through the window and it went running for the sky or out the universe. And it just went bang into billions of pieces and just went like black smoke. And it just blew up. And the energies we work with, they all of a sudden I had, like, because they can take any form they want, I had all these hands coming into the lounge where I was living, shaking the hands, going wicked. It was something absolutely massive, because it was like an entity that hides within the darkness or within space. And when a parallel universe opens, it jumps in and feeds on the light of
feeds
that
on
universe.
a thought vibration.
We'll
bring it in.
But I also got shown that it used to also give you dark patches on your skin. And I've spoke to people since then, and they reckon the skin feels a lot better. And that's probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
It's the biggest organ, right? It's the biggest organ on our body. Makes sense.
There is.
We actually saw that it would literally sink into your skin and into your, almost into your bone.
And thinks for you, and then
it affects your mind. It affects your thoughts. It affects you.
It takes you completely over. And it feeds on light, and then once that light is gone, it has to go and look for new light. It has to feed on something, but it feeds on light. And once all the light is gone, it was almost like an earth was put in front of us, and it was dropped into the floor in front of us, but it was left in down underneath us,
like in a black hole.
And like a black hole. And over 3 days, I didn't even know what I was looking for at the time, but once I seen it, I knew it was. And this entity or non-entity came out, up, and then wrapped itself around the light and started to grow again. And I was like, and I looked at it, and it looked at me, and I was like, yes, you fucker. And I remember grabbing it, holding it, naming it, because this non-entity isn't even allowed to recognize itself. Otherwise, it becomes an entity, and boom, it blows into billions of pieces. So this non-entity isn't even allowed to recognize itself as its own form.
Otherwise, it consumes.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
It
yeah.
It
cancels itself out.
Isn't that the ultimate of light,
It cancels
light
itself out,
bearing
yeah.
on darkness?
It cancels itself out.
Yeah, it cancels itself out. And it was this, and I didn't even know. I just knew it was a non-entity. We'd all been after it for a very long time. Yeah, because we're all the same. And I remember grabbing it, and it was running. I held it in my hand, squealing. I had to really hold on to this dark energy, and it just went straight out the window, straight towards the clouds. And I coded it, and it just blew into billions of pieces. And the energies we worked with, it was like a massive celebration because it was something that hides within space, or when a parallel.
A real pest.
Someone says black goo in the comments.
I was thinking it was black goo, but I doubt it's the black goo.
That's what someone said in the comments. Yeah, they went. It's black goo, is what Jeanette said in the comments.
Yeah. If I can, when I held it in my hand and I coded it, and it went, poosh, you know, William will know this. You know when you've got oxygen settling in your hands and you turn the two off and you get that puff of black smoke.
Yeah.
Doosh, that's what it looked like when it blew into billions of pieces. Loads of settling.
Yeah, I have.
Pinata.
It was horrible.
Does that suck? Does that draw on people's energy?
Kind of sexist. Like, William, you'll know this. Like, we wouldn't know anything about welding.
About what?
Welding. Like, he's talking about settling tanks and stuff, right?
Yeah, I know about welding.
Yeah.
I've
done a bit of that. Yeah.
And all that stuff. But he just assumed that William would know
it was a sort of that black.
Does that black suck energy? Does it suck energy from people?
It feeds on energy and grows upon it, so it feeds on light until it smothers it. And there's also carriers of it. So there's carriers of it that will carry it into different universes. They have some sort of deal with it, so they're carriers of it. So
if they cover it,
help it spread.
William was asking, does it consume? Like, does the negative consume the light, or does it just
smothers it?
Keep fueling itself.
It smothers it.
So the light stays there.
Smothers it and feeds on it. And feeds off it.
And it controls it.
So can it actually? Can it?
Yeah.
Fully eat all the good, or does it just like plugging in to an outlet? It can just continue to feed, or does it consume?
I think I got the impression that it didn't actually suck the absolute life out of somebody,
no,
but it controlled them enough so that they could feed off them for as long as possible.
And it attaches itself to the spinal cord.
It's horrific.
Up the spinal cord and up into here. And it was almost like a parasite that connected itself to the spinal cord,
like a ghoul.
And then it went back. And when we took it out, obviously with what I could see within the people that was on TV, I could see where it had been taken out and got rid of. And
there's plenty of sci-fis have had that same thing, where they had plugged in hair, but all the way down the spine, so you can get the loosh, right, which comes from the bottom.
That's what I'm talking about, the loosh, or the after the loosh.
Yeah.
Are we talking about a entity or a multitude of entities?
I think there's lots of them. I think they break into
just the one. It was a non-entity, and there's only one of them. This is why I talk about it as much as possible, because by talking about it, it keeps it an entity, because it keeps it into the mainframe. By us not talking about it or understanding it, it then can take on its non-entity form again, because we've not shared it or we don't understand it.
Is this anything like what is known as the archons?
I don't really know what that is, William.
Oh, the archons, as in the ancient race or the alien race?
The alien race. They're like something what Juicy described, that they're like a shadow form.
Yeah.
And if there's anything like what I experienced when I went to a nursing home where my brother-in-law was, and I started feeling ill, and I had to get out. I had to leave. And as I was leaving, I said to my wife, I'm not going back in there again. And later on, I'm thinking, that's not like me. to say I won't be going back in there. I said, there's something going on. I'm going to find out what it is. So when I got home, I kind of meditated for a while, and I went back into the building. It's a very old convent, the old style convents that they were along. I think we all experienced them. They had convent buildings. This had been converted, and I got when I went back in and revisited everything, I realized that there was these dark black. They were like shadows, and they were feeding. It was feeding off of people, off of the inmates. Sorry,
shadow people.
They were very short. They weren't. They didn't have a kind of form as such. But
this didn't.
They were stealing a kind of a loosh.
Yeah,
as Cheryl was saying,
it's a mass
from all the people that were in there. So the following day I went back in, brought on my light warriors with me, and I stood in the middle of the building and I just cleared the whole building out.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, is that the same type of
sounds like it
blackness
yes,
that you're
I would
talking
say
about?
yes.
Was it? I mean, when we had dealings with this one that was in front of us, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
When did you have your dealings with it, William?
It'd be around 4 years ago now, I'd say.
Yeah, same as us. Yeah, same as us.
I've dealt with shadow people, as you call them.
No, they weren't shadow people. Like they weren't. These are not people. These are just things.
It's like a mass. It's a horrible. Yeah. When you look through it, look. Remember that game you used to play when you played? Is it called Snobs? When you got them little bit of the little funny shape little things. Snobs, it was called. And it like all tessellated into each other. That's the format it had in it, and it all locked into each other. And it's like a coded like that. It hasn't got a physical form. It's got a physical. It's got a physical mass.
Yes,
and that mass expands with light.
It didn't have a shape. It didn't have a shape. A particular shape.
Okay.
Just a mass. It's like a physical mass that expands while it's feeding on.
Okay.
Because the guys that we work with, or the energy people that we work with, they live in the reflective world. So you see, as you're looking out through the glass window, they can take a physical form or shadow from inside the house, and then take that to the outside and use it to make something, which I find is amazing. And I've always said to the energies, because there's all different ones, how the fuck did they do that? And they're like, we still don't know. They have better clothes than us. They come with the families. They come with the kids. They come with all the thingy. They can make the horses they have are stunning. They've got all different animals. They've got horses. They've got cattle. Literally, the whole thing is like. And
I've seen them on a big, massive Egyptian ship
above us. Yeah, and they can take any form on whatever they need to do, and they are fucking amazing. And the horses have like armor on, and like glint armor and everything, and they've got carriages. They can make anything that they want, but they can also
very
make
Tartarian sounding, isn't it? The Tartarian.
Well, when I was listening to when I was listening to about the atom and how the atom is the creation of life and everything's within that. That's where that sort of that God spark is within the atom.
Yeah.
And I did think to myself, I wonder if these energies are the energies that work within the atom. They're like a physical presence of the atom, because they always help us build something or cut something out or pull something over. We've built spheres above us, we've built this, we've built all different types of things we've been playing around with. And I'm wondering if that they're the matrix within inside the atom, that can create anything they want with it. Because they've got the two different types of energy, haven't they? They've got the physical energy, and then they've got the radiation, which is energy, and it all fits together as one. And I'm wondering if the atom has its own builder race within it that helps create everything on the outside.
A bit like a hologram, where the smallest contains the biggest bit, so it doesn't matter what size.
So the question I would ask is, who created that?
for thoughts?
Well, all I know is we was all created at the same time. So
I see everything as one.
We've had this physical form forever. This physical form, and then I realised that I don't work with energies. I work with stories, so I blend stories together.
You work with ideas.
Yeah. So this is. So I take the stories of what we're doing or whatever, and then I blend the stories together, and then the energy is created within the story. So I didn't know that for a very long time. You create the energy
in the story. You're like the story. You're like the writer of the story, right? So you go through the experience, but you create the experience through your thoughts. So because our thoughts create, so you create everything that comes to you before it comes to you, because the inquisitive, because you have the questioning. We all have questions, but not everyone's good at, fighting past all the bullshit in their lives and their minds to get to where they can actually have that clear question between them and the universe. And so when you pair go on your journeys, all of the crap's out of the way. So you're actually innately asking the question and creating the answer by way of your experiences. Well, that's how I'm seeing this.
Have we all had this conversation every couple of thousand years or what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This conversation every couple of thousand years when we screw up.
I'll go even further back.
That's very good.
Yeah, I want to go further back.
I always say we wrote this before we came in, and all we're doing is sorting the shit out and building what we need for the future.
Yes. Exactly. We all have the questions, but it's in knowing yourself, think about this, isn't one of the greatest things you can ever do is the quest to know yourself, right? To be able to get beyond all the short thoughts, the bullshit, the ideas of who you are, who you're meant to be, who people see you as, because the most freeing time in my life has been when I just went, you know what? Fuck everything else. I've got to get on with me, right?
So is this deja vu for us? Are we back where we started and trying to fuck? Where did we go wrong this time? We're back where we started again.
Yeah, Groundhog Day.
This time we smashed it.
That's Groundhog Day.
I was talking to Amy the other day. She goes, "Well, when's this all over?" I says, "When we run out of permutations of disappointment." We've all been trying to get home for fucking forever, and once the permutations of disappointment have gone, it will actually then send us home.
Well, I think when we ask the right questions, when we can ask the right questions, that every time you ask a good question to yourself, when your brain gets that exciting chemical when you're in thought, it's like, I call it hyper thought, right? When you're in that other dimension of thought.
That's a nice word, huh? That's a nice word.
I read it actually. It was, I think it comes from
sounds very spacey.
Yeah.
It's when you can. When I read it, I thought, fuck, that's what I do all the time. Hyper thought is when you're still here, but you are off having massive thoughts, whether you're stoned, you're drunk, you're on a trip or whatever. But
I'm all right now, thank you very much.
I'm like,
strong coffee.
I'm all that.
It's the questions. No, I think our evolution is linked to the questions that we can ask ourselves, because you don't get a fucking answer unless you ask the question, right? Mm-hmm. Now I ask these really huge questions and then I get these really amazing answers, right? So I think each one of us has the ability or the before we came, there's certain questions that some will be able to ask. Some people would be too modest to ask certain questions, even to themselves, right? Or if you have a very stiff upbringing, say Catholic, there's certain questions you're going to find difficult to ask, even in your own mind privately.
Yeah. We've had friends like that, and when I've been explaining this or trying to teach this the best as I can at the beginning to friends and that, the biggest problem I had to get through was people that have been brought up as a strict Catholic, because it really is a. Yeah, I know.
So what's your excuse? What's your excuse?
I don't really know. Yeah, but I don't. But that was the biggest thing I had dealing with friends and people in the past. because I always, and then I realised that's when I used to, and that's when I learned or got taught how to swap them over from being right-handed to left-handed and make him swap the dominant eye over, and free this that had been blocked to make him swap the dominant eye over. It swaps the hand over, so it made him left-handed. And then when they become left-handed, the information went straight in.
Well, the ego stepped aside then, because the ego mind is it knows every word. It knows them all down pat. You can use it in any language with any accent, and the ego goes, "What's that? What you saying? What the fuck you saying? What you doing?" And it stands up like pretends to be a protector, right? The ego. Oh, let me protect you from those people and those bad thoughts. When in truth, all it does is just smother anything of any value. Ego is an inexhaustible.
Because you created it.
Exactly, but if there's a good ego and there's a negative, absolutely. Society most definitely waters that garden.
We used to always clear shit because when we're on our travels, whatever we're in becomes like a vessel, and we do travel around. We're on the move, you know what I mean? We're moving around the universe. It becomes a vessel, and it's wicked because you're flying. You know you're actually moving through whatever you're moving through. And then when we used to finish, we knew it was coming to an end. We used to always clear ships. So we used to, like I said before, we used to always talk about what had gone on and everything else and where we are and where we're part of the journey. And then we used to take all the negative that we've been dealing with, all them thoughts, and then we used to absorb that into ourselves and then create the beautiful out of the negativity to relevant to and from whoever, wherever you are. Share it. Yeah. You can only create beautiful out of negativity, because how do you know? You can't create beautiful out of beautiful, because beautiful might be really bad, you don't know. But out of the negativity, you absorb that and then create the beautiful out of it, relevant to and from whoever, wherever. And that to us always sat right, because we weren't judge and jury of what we was doing, but we knew we was doing something. So we used to always share it to whatever, relevant to and from whoever, wherever it is, or whatever universe or whatever, and we used to share it out. And that's something we used to always do.
Yeah.
Because we're strong enough to consume that negativity and make something beautiful out of it. Yeah. So it's what we're doing now, isn't it? We're talking about this, but by us talking about it, we're taking that negativity and making something beautiful out of it. We're having a laugh, having a chat about it, we're talking about different things.
Just watching you say that, and saying we take the negative, and it's a little like an addiction, isn't it? Negative thought is like an addiction. You have to sit with it.
It goes back to relevant to and from,
and it's awful.
Yeah,
and then find your way through it.
I did it with Amy the other night, and did it with you the other night. So try this, right? Relevant. So the relevant to and from is relevant to and from whatever we want. Every universe and every box used to be relevant to and from the same one, so it traps you within a mold. So basically, then we realized that we are the vessel, we are the starship, we are that box, we are that relevant to and from inside of that, of whatever we fucking want, which is a positive expanding universe, which constantly is positively expanding forward, because then you got that perfect creation as it moves on. So if you can imagine, you're that vessel, all them relevant to and from boxes, from the last one to the first one, you then bring them all in, so you bring them all in right to the first one, and you absorb them all, them boxes, then you recode them into spheres, and then that connects you with the universe.
This is be manifesting as well, right?
That is, but you got to imagine, you got to close your eyes, Cheryl, and then imagine that you're the vessel and you are that relevant to and from whatever I want inside, and then from the last one to the first one, you just grab them because they're all the same coded, and you bring them in. As they're in there, you change them all into spheres because they're all recoded. They all open as one, and then back out to the universe. And then that links us all together, because all them codes of them spheres, they're all individual codes because they're all individual, but them spheres all fit together perfectly. But the boxes didn't. The boxes didn't fit together perfectly. They're all slightly coded differently. Thanks, babes. Try it for a week and see how you feel. Because all you're doing is taking control of all that negativity, all that relevant to and from who we used to be. And I said, I'm not scared of that anymore because it's a worry. And you take that in and then convert it into spheres and then release it back out to the universe. like a sphere bomb.
It's like taking ownership, isn't it? You know, when you...
He's taking it, and it clears space and time out as well. Because all them individual boxes of the universe in each one of them was the mess that we also was in. Because where we're going to build now, we've done all, we've run out of room. So it's a case of, by doing all of that, taking all that in, we're now clearing to rebuild the future and move forward.
I guess rename it as well. So rename it something positive.
Yes, that's what I've been doing. I've been renaming everything, if you guys didn't notice. That's just what I do.
Oh, but I think a lot
what
of
you got
stuff
growing out your head?
You know, dog looks like he's straddling your head. It's a dog.
It's a dog.
Is it a dog?
It's a dog.
Oh, it is a dog.
It is a dog.
I thought it was a cat first.
Cat.
He's running away now. He's outside. No, you want to come see the big? Come on.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hello, darling.
The puppies have always got to make an appearance. Doesn't matter if they're big or small.
Oh, he's asleep.
He's fast off. He's been playing out all day, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's fast asleep.
Yeah,
Now.
he's been waiting. He was waiting for this moment. He was like, my dog was like, "Hey, we're on camera. It's my moment."
Yeah, he's a bit the same actually.
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah.
Hey, William, by the way, I'm wearing this hat for you. It's my lucky Irish hat because I'm Irish. I am a little Irish. Well, yes. Yes.
Hey, can't you tell by her accent?
She got it free with 10 points to Guinness. Did you get that free with 10 points?
I knew something familiar.
That's so Irish.
I'm so sorry for the bullshit. I'm going to mute it for a minute.
Actually, the dogs have got a better reception than you have. So I'm dead brave when she's 5,000 miles away.
Cheryl, whereabouts in Aussie are you?
In Queensland.
In Queensland, okay.
East Coast, halfway up.
Yeah. It was
Sunny
in Aussie.
Queensland.
Is that where a lot of gold was found many years ago?
What?
I think there's gold everywhere around Australia.
Yeah.
Loads
Find
of
any? Did you find any?
No, I haven't gone looking either. Actually, probably the one things that I haven't done. I've done a lot of things, but I've never panned. Do they call it panning? It's pan.
Yeah.
Panned out. That's where you get the word panned out from.
Panning for gold.
Yeah.
I'd be too bored.
Yeah, it didn't pan out for us as you get up.
Panhandling. Panhandling. Where did that panhandling? It's panhandling.
That's washing dishes.
Yeah.
Pandemic.
Creating
William, look at all the fun you've been missing, William. All the time. This is the fun. You could have brought Dermot with you. I like him as well. He's a very good chap, I say.
Who's this?
Dermot Kelly, you're right.
Well, Cheryl would know. Dermot is probably asleep now. And the extra hour is now 10.5 hours of a difference. So what time is it with you?
Is it? Right.
And he's got to go work. He actually has to work.
It's 10 to 8 in the morning, Sunday
he
morning.
He works 6 days a week now, but he's doing overtime, he's doing everything. He just doesn't, and he has to support the family. So he doesn't really have much time.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's in Adelaide.
Yes, Adelaide.
I like what he has to. He has a lot to offer. I like him.
Yeah, he is. We do have fun.
Although, I don't know what you think, but England is the hub of all of this, don't you think? It's got a lot to do with it. I don't know what it is, but
England.
Yeah.
It is a hub.
DC, the Vatican.
Yeah.
And Geneva.
DC, the
Right.
Vatican, and London. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Switzerland as well, right? It's right under Lake Geneva.
Lake Geneva, yeah.
That's another one there.
Which was weird in the Second World War, weren't it? Because like there was like, well, can we stay neutral? And the Germans were like, yeah, of course you can. Like, what was that about? It's like, can we stay neutral? And they go, yeah, no problem. You stay neutral. Yeah, here's a penknife. Here's a penknife.
Bit of chocolate.
And we'll stay neutral. Is that okay? And it was like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you stay neutral. But I've got a theory on it. It's because that's where all the clockmakers used to be around the world. Yeah. And if he went to attack that, the clockmakers of the world would have gone all over the place. So something about keeping the clockmakers in one place so that they don't go everywhere.
Does that to do with abracadabra?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Because it is. There's no such thing as coincidence, but from them simple calculations, you've got 3 12-hour clocks within it. Yeah, it's like the odds of that are billions and billions of light years to one.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, think about it. Yeah,
it is. It's billions and billions of light years of permutations to that one. Yeah, that every calculation works out exactly to the clocks and to the 6s and the 72s, and
that makes it even more credible, doesn't it? The fact
it does.
that the odds are so high.
Yeah, that's what blew my mind at the time, because it was like I did the calculations, I could see the clock, and then when I looked into the clock, and it was like 12 1 2 and then 12 and I was like, wow. And then 4 calculations out with a 6, and obviously 6 12 is 72, which is 9. It was like, wow. The odds of that happening from just a quick download and a quick draw.
Not random. It's not random.
It's impossible that not one figure is
That's what makes it so possible. That's what makes it so credible. Is because if it can last and live with that much chance for error or chance for negating, and the fact that it's tether with the trees.
Yeah. But the thing is, lost your shell.
Yeah.
Gone.
Who am I talking about?
Australia.
I get the same thing with Dermot. His freezes up constantly.
Does it?
Yeah.
Mine's only done it a couple of times today, but I'm never sure if it's me freezing or just this freezing, or like we've got 9 people here. So I'm not quite sure.
You've got 9.
Can I tell you something interesting that I noticed today?
No, we're more than 9.
Today I noticed on my FB story that there was a couple of people that were following. So as you go through all the pictures, they'll drop down a list of how many people are looking at it. Then when it got to posts about a certain country to the west, the people that lived in the west, their names didn't pop up, but then it would on the next post. So it was like it was stopping that country from seeing that country's post. And then there was one in Australia as well, and that was being missed out.
That's interesting.
But then they could still see the next pictures, and I thought, hang on a second, they were looking at that one's next, and they've not seen it, and then they've looked at the next one. But you can't go past the photos without so they are they are wow.
To see their well, it's so willy-nilly. It's not like they're doing it with any sensibility. Do you know what I mean? All this censoring it. So
they are stupid.
It's like that, the little boy putting things like, Oh, they're beyond stupid. They don't think they're evil. They're like the most evil ever, but they're
not from their point of view. Not
Really,
from their point of view, they
brain
don't
cell
think they're evil.
No.
They haven't got a
That's the
clue they are.
problem.
They're
Well,
doing what they believe is right. They're
Yeah.
just doing
I think
what's in
with
their
the bank-
soul and what they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the banking system, when we physically went into it and attacked it and got the guts out of it and realised how corrupt it was physically, yeah, I think there was more concern how their system didn't work, how their system that protected the bullshit, that we got into and pulled it and pulled the rug from underneath it. And I think there was more concern who we were and how their system now doesn't protect the lies. I think that's the biggest concern that they had, is like, who the fuck are they, and how come they've gone into the system physically, attacked us, made us look like an absolute idiots,
over and over
again, and how their system wasn't protecting them anymore.
And we didn't just attack them, we absolutely took the piss out of them every step of the way as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they literally didn't know what to do with us, did they?
No.
I hope there's somebody taking notes, because the next time we meet up in a few 100,000 years, we know what we were talking about.
That's why we were calling it. We're putting it in the ship's computer.
Sorry.
I'm really willing in my DNA.
Maybe the Akashic records. It'd be in the ship's computer. But then we have been told that kind of is part of the Akashic records.
Yes, the Akashic records. Spot on. Yeah. Well done,
We're going to get it right this time anyway, aren't we? We're not going to mess it up this time, so we don't need to have this conversation again. No, this time it's it. I know it. I feel it in my bones.
And I know that as well, Tash, because on one of the last journeys I went on, I stripped a dome off, because we have domes spinning above us, or spheres or domes, and the last one I took off and stripped it all off, and I could see what it is, because the clouds take on the format and tell me the story, so I can see it within the clouds of the format. And as I'm stripping it all off and taking it all off, I went, I've done this before. It's the same day. And I went, I've done this before more than fucking once. And the energy's going, yeah, I know. I went, so I was like, I ain't doing it anymore. He went, no, it's their last chance. I went, yeah, obviously I fucking heard that. I lost 3 or 4 times, because I remember doing it at least 3 or 4 times, living the same journey, the same day. And in the end, you go, you know what's going to happen before it actually happens. Yeah. And I'm going, anyway, apparently on the last one that we stripped off and took out, it was there. It was given one last go, one last chance, and that was it. Done.
Oh.
Yeah, I totally agree. We get it right this time, and it is done.
I hope that recording is working. I hope that recording is working.
It is.
Oh God.
We're done.
We don't want to go through this again.
Ending our subscription. Thank you.
Yeah, people going, you said, and like, oh yeah, no, fuck no.
No, we are. We've come from the future. We know. We get it right this time.
The non-entity's the biggie.
Yeah.
That's something we must remember of the future.
Yeah. And we know in here that we got it right this time.
Yeah.
I know we have. I know it's going good.
Have we heard that before?
Yeah, I have as well.
No,
I've said it. And I'm going, I've done this before. And the energies are going, yeah, I know, they've been given one last chance. I went, what? I said, I'm not doing it anymore. So I went on strike.
It's not like we're saying any dates or anything, is it?
I remember one day, because when we get on our travels, it's almost like you and your own, because we're all starships and we all come together one, whatever we sit on flies, it activates. And I was like, who the fuck has put, once I realised that we're part of this starship, I was like, who the fuck has put all this shit on my starship? I went fucking bonkers, didn't I, with the energies? I was looking at the fucking mess. I said, how have I got a Victorian fucking council estate on the starship? who the fuck put it there? I was going, what about insurance? I said, is it insured? I was like,
going ape shit.
I went mad. Once I realised this is part of our starship of who we are, and all this has been built on it, and I'm like, who's put this on here? Like, I'd sit there shouting at them. The neighbours must have thought we're fucking bonkers. I'd be like, who the fuck has put this on this?
They were probably right.
And honestly, you can hear a fucking pin drop because there's like because there's so many different energies and there's so much stuff going on, and it's like, and then all of a sudden they'll all bugger off because they've all got tired and they've gone bed. I'm like, gone bed.
I blame you for everything anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
You blame him.
You know what? I'll take that with him because like.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll go,
it's all your fault.
What the fuck is going on? and then we'll be sitting there and everything's all going on, and then they all fucking disappear. And they've all gone, and you feel like, well, where's everybody gone? And they've all gone bed because they're tired. So these energies that we deal with, they physically get tired like we do. They physically need food like we do. They fit the stuff that we have. Yeah, they've got the fingers in the bags because it keeps them awake. Yeah, I get some cheese out and they're all in it. and then what they're really good at, if we had MasterChef on TV, they would take a copy of that dinner off MasterChef so they can eat it.
Like the TV from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
It's amazing.
Yeah, the TV from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I hear you.
Yeah. But there's one thing I have thought about. Do these energies work within the atom? Yeah, and they're like the builder waste within the atom that creates everything on the outside. Yeah, there's one thing I have thought about, because we can stand on the out. So sometimes we have to leave the property we're in and go stand in the garden, and it's always fucking raining. So we go and stand outside, yeah, and then you can see our house is full
of energy people. In every room.
Every room.
Like a big party going on.
Yeah. They keep the house better than we did, in all honesty. I mean, fair play to them. But there was a lot of them. But then when they're finished doing whatever shift they're doing, and then we go back in the house is empty. But then I can see them on the outside. And they also take physical form in the trees and plants and stuff, so it gives them physical form so you can see them. So I'm in the garden talking to him like a fucking maniac. The neighbours must think, fucking hell, he's off again. Do you know what I mean? But I don't care. I don't care.
I'd love to see that.
Can you imagine him? He'd be like, but Jesus, he's off again.
Speaking of garden.
He's at it again.
My dad would you say it's in the garden, like, wow, it's healthy for you. But I don't think he realized what he was saying. We'll get on that subject at another time. But the whole garden thing, our garden, like as in the Garden of Eden, is Earth. Does anybody else have that epiphany recently that Earth is the Garden of Eden?
I've heard people talk about that. Yeah.
It's all part of
I don't think
Abracadabra and DNA. Talks about that, doesn't he? Adam and Eve. It's all
tied in. You've mentioned it too, haven't you? Yeah, the Adam and Eve thing.
Yeah.
And on that note, sorry to be rude, and on that note, while I'm here, I'm going to have to say goodbye. So
I'm going to
have to get in my bed.
We'll be up in a minute. We know where you live.
Listen, and I've got to leave it as well.
Thank you so much.
As well.
And nice to meet you, William.
Lovely to meet you.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Willie.
Yeah.
And I see you in about 100,000
Good seeing you,
years.
girl.
Yeah.
Take care.
We know where you live as well.
Bye, William.
Bye-bye. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye,
William.
love.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
See you later.
next week.
Bye.
How wicked was that? That was awesome, wasn't it?
Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome.
I've still got
It
some
really
This is
was.
like the best episode ever. Every week it just gets better and better.
It does,
because-
doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really building momentum, isn't it?
Energy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's meant to be. It is so meant to be. Like the energy we add every week, the new beings that come in are the new stars, are stars that light this board up. Like we were going to light it up like a freaking Christmas tree, and those. Yeah, well, maybe on I don't know, maybe another episode because yeah, we'll talk about this certain subject we're going to talk about eventually. But yeah, and then people will realize the truthers are here.
Always trust the loony. Yeah, because a loony always knows the way home.
Crazy person in a movie. The one that's screaming it in a movie.
I always trust a loony, and then she goes, "Why is that?" Because I know where home is.
That's why I hide myself in plain sight. Crazy.
And even if you get lost on the way, you have a good fucking laugh. Yeah. I mean, you'll get there eventually. I mean, doesn't if you're traveling with a couple of loonies, you're gonna, no matter how long it takes to get home, you're gonna have a fucking wicked time on the way.
Yeah, don't you?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine being stuck with loads of boring people. Like, oh my god, we got millions of light years to go. Yeah, and God, you are boring, man.
You might be oh dear God, this is a crazy man. Oh shit. Can I make it through the next 2 hours? By then you're just like, really? You're so intrigued. You're like, hey, at least I'm not sitting by a phone says it's Mr. Sour Pants over here. So you're like, oh, and you're intrigued because it's like people don't realize though that even if they look like they're crazy, they're really not crazy. That's the label everybody gives them.
You could what a perfect disguise for somebody that's intelligent, looking like you're fucking crazy. They tell you in plain sight. We hide it in plain sight. Like fucking, don't listen to them. They're fucking nuts.
I cried.
The thing is, though, the more crazy something is, the more it makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this is gospel truth, yeah. When I've been on the travels and everything else, and what happens is, whatever's on TV at the time, it opens up that it's in the present. Yeah. So as it opens up in the present, I can communicate with people on the TV because they understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. Even people that have died a very long time ago, I can have a conversation and they understand what we're talking about.
Mm.
It's fucking weird.
It brings them into the present.
It brings them into the present. So
no matter how old the footage is.
Because there's no such thing as past, because we use all the past up. So it's future. So the present is the future, and it's controlled by the permanently expanding future, which then changes the present around us. So it's future. So when we're doing the travels, people that died a long time ago, I can have a full conversation with people, and they understand what I'm talking about because that past is gone and it's future. So it opens up the present while we're in there. And that's why we obviously when we do our travels and stuff, we're inside the present because it's future, and leave the past behind. So people that have died or whatever, I can have a
It's frequencies. That's why it's about frequencies. That's
and because there is no past, only future, which creates the present, and then obviously it's future, and the present's within there. So basically, it's all organic inside it. So it opens up channels to people that have passed a while ago or whatever. But as I'm talking within the room, which then goes through you. So then, because we're all one, then the people on the can hear what we're talking about because that is part of you. So then you can, I'll get that communication back through. And the biggest fear was relevant to and from the old style of how we used to build universes. The biggest fear, relevant to and from. To go outside of relevant to and from, it used to terrify people that we used to try and explain it to on the travels, because to even talk about it, it could collapse space and time because it's relevant to and from the old school. And if you take one of them, that DNA link out of that relevant to and from universe, like a stepping stone, the whole thing can collapse because they're all relevant to and from each other of the first one. So that first one is relevant to the last one. So if you upset the last one, it's the same as the first one and can take the lot out before we've actually recreated the self. But we recreate in the relevant to and from whatever we want box, not the relevant to and from the last one. Yeah, and we are that vessel, and we build within us and then out. But it's a worry and it's a fear, because it's the biggest fear that on our travels that people had subconsciously, because to think outside that could upset the apple cart within the universe, because everything was relevant to and from the first ever one to the last one. So basically, if you upset the apple cart on this one, or just it could take the first one out, and it's a subconscious thought pattern. That thought pattern isn't there anymore. And I said to Amy the other night, to prove a point, all of you now, right, think of the biggest infinity negative you could give yourself personally and absorb it.
No, you can't make me. I'm not doing it.
Right. No, do it. No, honestly, do it, and I'll prove a point.
Oh.
Take all of those negative things,
biggest negative you could actually give to yourself, in any way, shape, or form. Take it on, and consume the whole thing within you. Yeah.
I do that in the real world. Why do I want to do that now? I have to do it in 3D. Oh God! Why do you do it because you can.
Do it because you can.
Come on,
big baby. I was willing to get the flight over and smack your legs. And it's only a trip away, if you know what I mean. So once you've done that, so it's good as Terry's like, I don't want to do that because it's the fear of it. Yeah. So by doing it and taking it in, you realise that all you want to do is laugh. Because there's no such thing as negativity. There never has been. Yeah. It's always been positive.
It's a concept.
Yeah.
Negativity is a concept that was created.
So by consuming yourself with all the negative thoughts and absorbing it all, you're only left with one thing to do, and that's to laugh. Because there is no such thing as negative. There is no such thing as negativity. Yeah. It was already taken out of the picture before we started this. We left the concept of it in, to create a negative parallel to use them all up. That's all.
Do you remember my hair was a right mess after you said that?
Yeah, her hair was like
I look like I just got off the
Walters. Brain explosion.
And I used to always say this on the travels, because it's one thing, it's hard to accept. It's one thing, it's like, I don't really want to do that. Like, I don't really want to do that. And then you got a question, why don't I want to do that? Yeah, it's because of the fact of
it's that subconscious
fear
stopping you,
which goes back billions of light years to the first ever relevant to and from box. So because you're doing all of that, then you're giving yourself all the biggest, you're going through the negative thoughts to the absolute maximum you could actually do, and then you're finished. Why look at negativity in small steps? Just do the whole fucking lot in one go and release it. And it's gone.
Yep.
And all you're left with then is happiness, a free head, because that's so, because they're all boxes of subconsciousness, which are locked in here, because that's how old we really are. Yeah. So you take the whole thing as one big hole, absorb it, poof, it's gone. You're done. You're finished. There's no point doing baby steps of let's look at what happened in the previous life. Oh, let's do the whole fucking lot in one go. Let's not fuck about. Yeah, and I learned that on the joke. Fast tracking. I said, hey, let's not fuck about. Let's just do the whole fucking thing from wherever to yeah. So it's like this. Yeah, and this is how it works. Yeah, if there's a journey and this journey is from A to B, yeah, well, now you can go, there's your A to B, and you're finished. Doesn't matter that journey from A to B as a journey. You just, well, that's A and B, it's the same thing, and you're finished.
Space and time.
Exactly.
Holding it in on itself.
Yeah. So you've got this, which is A, and there's your B. Well, at the end of the day, you push it together, and you're finished. You don't have to go through all that to get to that. That's one thing I learned on the journeys. Yeah, we're wasting a lot of time going through all the permutations to whatever. So we shortened it to like, well, if that's that point, and this is this point, yeah. Well, move that point to that point, and you're finished. As simple as that. What's the point doing? Every point's the same in between. Yeah, so what we're doing is taking that point, the start point, and a finish point, and you're finished. Done. Let it go.
Yeah, gone.
It's gone.
Gone.
Otherwise, all the point in between. So you got a first one and you got a last one, and all you do is put the two together and finish. It's done. Doesn't matter what in between.
How, cellular memory fits into this, because you know we can do this really quickly.
Yeah.
But when you've got cellular memory that's been built up over years, even though I know cellular memory doesn't understand time, it understands existence. So I'm wondering if I guess they all just cramp. It's the whole past, present, future being the same, I guess.
Well, you've already by taking all them boxes anyway, from the last one to the first one, you've already took all their memories in and converted into spheres, and you take that point, finish. Then all it can do then is let in past experiences of who we are, because we took that on in and through to manifest himself back through us again.
You're letting go. You release the cellular memory.
Yes.
In doing that, you unlock it.
You unlock it.
You don't need to be responsible for it anymore either. You've already had the current.
Yeah.
Create the cellular memory.
It's an old memory of who we used to be, but not who we are. So then it becomes a memory of who we used to be, but not who we are, and it lets that in.
Yeah, I wonder how epigenetics works in with this as well. I find all this. I accept everything. It's just like, you know, I've learned too much. I've seen much that I didn't, you didn't think was real and ends up being real, or vice versa. So I take it all in. I figure, there's probably even a universe where everything that's ever imagined actually is. So
that's the one I'm talking about. That's what every fucking one fucking universe is fucking awesome. Yeah. The universe that I've been shown, or the universes that we have thoughts about, or thingy, everything is printed, there's nothing has to be destroyed to create something, because we've done it here. Yeah. So it's almost like this here has been like a solid sort of like energy, and then all the creation here has been copied into the universe into like a format of coding. Yeah. So it can be recreated without destroying.
Yeah. So I guess it's just about releasing, in the act and the art of releasing, then you can release. See, I'm thinking like the cellular memory goes in with epigenetics. I don't know if you understand much about epigenetics. Epigenetics is above the genes. Like you have your genes that make your eyes like your dad, or your knees like your mum, or,
I had some genes like that. It's always 7 fucking legs blue. Every time it rains, them ones.
Then you have epigenetics. Epigenetics is above the genes. They're the genes. It's the study of our ability to change those genes through thought and environment, right?
Yeah. Like an octopus.
Not the evolution that we've been taught.
Yeah.
It's a completely different kind of evolution. Like human beings evolved to be better human beings, not we evolved from apes.
Yeah, but this is where the genetics. I'm more interested in the releasing of, because I'm taking what Juicy's saying, what I understand about like cellular memory and epigenetic. Epigenetics is very modern. Did you know every major hospital in every major city has a department, a research department that is dedicated to the study of epigenetics? Epigenetics is also what makes the understanding of the difference between the feminine mind and the masculine mind. Epigenetics explains like the extreme differences in the genders for a start, like, and to serious things like you look at medication, right? They test medication on little male mice, and they do all of the testing on male mice, right, which has a male brain. But when they're testing, only 6% they actually test on female mice when they're doing stuff for, say, medications for women versus men. They do the studies on male mice, but then what they do is they neuter them and go, oh, that's a girl now. So that'll be the girl mouse and this will be the boy mouse. It's like,
I didn't know that.
The brains are different, right? So what happens is medications that are made for the male brain do not work for the female brain and system. Same as motivational stuff, like Anthony Robbins, fucking awesome for men. 1 in 5 women will be able to take it on and go, yep, I get it, right, good. 4 out of 5 women with all motivational anyone or self-helpers, they don't get it. They leave feeling less than, or that they didn't get it, or they must be dumb, or they must be stupid. It's simply because it was designed for a male brain, by a male, for a male brain. Epigenetics is showing that female brains function very differently. So we need to look at both sides. It helped me to understand the differences that were really always glaringly obvious between men and women, right? They're there. Like men have this ability to go in what they call the nothing box. The male brain has this, it's a really good video, and it's by Mark.
I like the nothing box. I understand the nothing box.
Now, but this is very real. Now, he talks about, he's a scientist, a brain scientist, and you'll know it, he's on a little stage and he's got a brain sitting on top of a plinth sort of thing. But he talks about the male brain has this ability to go to the nothing box, right? Which is when they might sit there and mindlessly go through the remote, or they might sit in go fishing and do nothing. It's actually an integral part of the male brain, the male psyche, the way that a male functions, is the ability to retreat to the nothing box. But now, with men didn't know about that and women didn't know about that, then there was always this argument amongst them about, why does he do this? Why does he do that? I've been yelling at him all day to do this. It's because you're not understanding that he's in his nothing box. It's got fuck all to do with you, fuck all to do with anything. It not mean he's not thinking or that he's dumb, but you think back in the days when men were hunters and they had to go out on the plains and they had to wait sometimes for a day or two to find something.
Longer than that, stay away from you lot, moniators.
Well, you can't be sitting in constructive thought.
We'll hang this one out, Jack.
Somewhere that you can, somewhere that you can put your mind, but you don't have to actually be there, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? You can whittle away out of it. Now, once women understand men have this, and once men understand it, there's so many light bulbs go on, like, oh, I fucking never understood that. And then once women know it, when they see a man in it, they don't get annoyed and make it all personal. Like, oh, why is he ignoring me? He's being such a bastard. So anyway, I come back. I digressed. But this is this is epigenetics. This is what I'm saying about. I'm trying to sew what you're saying into what I know and come up with a picture or an example or an analogy, which I like to do. That's the way my brain works. So I can sew all this together and make a picture out of it.
Yeah, because we work in pictures. When we describe things.
That's good in your stories.
All I'm doing is relating the picture that we see when we're on a journey, and we just talk about what we see. because it's a picture, and that's probably why it resonates with people, because we're sending that picture out of what we see. And it's dogs work on pictures; they pick pictures up. Animals pick pictures up. You know what I mean? You don't train a dog; you train the person walking the dog. So if you've got a fear of another dog coming towards you, you plan your walk on where you're going to go, what time you're going to go, what you're going to do, and what fears you've got along that journey about another dog coming. So, of course, by the time you go for a walk, that dog has took that picture on and then goes in defense mode if he sees another dog, because he thinks he's got to, because of your fear of the picture you've already painted before you've gone out for the walk. And the more walks you've gone on, the more pictures you've got, and the more that dog reacts to your fear, because he's protecting you of your own fear. So they show you weaknesses, which is really good. If you understand learning from an animal, and it's protecting your pictures in here. We talking pictures because I can't do. We've got that much goes on our journeys, but we were left with the pictures of what's happened.
Well, a picture paints 1,000 words, right?
Yeah, it does. And we as we sit, because I used to say to you, whatever you think is going on, it's happening right here, right fucking now, as we sit in here, and it's going on around us. But we also get taken on journeys within that as well. And we go, whoa, where the fuck have we been? And we've been, one of them was a wicked one where the wall in front of us opened up. And then I call it Atlantis or Atlanta, I don't know. We walked across this bridge, and we both remember walking across this stone bridge. And you could hear all these kids playing in the stream below us. And remember looking over, and all these kids are swimming in the stream below us, laughing and giggling. You could hear people celebrating and clapping and cheering and stuff. And we're like, what the fuck? We're like, we're home at last. We've done it. That's it. But then once you think like that, bang, you're back. You go, fuck.
Oh, you finished it. Oh, you put a full stop on the end by going, we're home.
Yeah, we're home.
Yeah,
we've done it. We haven't got to go back. We're there. And then as soon as you can think like that, boof, you're back again. And you're back into this. You're like, what? But while you wasn't thinking like that, you could keep this travel going on and on and on and on and on and on. But once you go, what am I doing? Oh my God, we're here. Bang, you're back. And we had that before. We were standing there, and there's three of us standing in a room, and we got taken to this place to a thump. It was almost like we fell through the TV, like a porthole. It was like, and then we're standing on this planet, and we called it Planet Perfecto because it was beautiful. Big plants, big leaves, big everything. It was gorgeous. And we stood it. I stood. We stood in the square. There's me, you, and another friend, and we all stood there. But there's also a little chubby guy with gases, and he stood there as well. And I'm like, but that chubby guy wasn't in the room with us. But he was there when we got taken to this Planet Perfect. And it's the only time I remember another being being there without being in the room.
That didn't have a to and from.
No.
We didn't know who he was.
Don't even know who he was.
He was like a ring-in.
Yeah, and it's the first time that we've actually travelled to somewhere, and we all stood in like a square, all staring at each other, but no one said anything. We was there for quite a while. Then I thought to myself, fuck. Boom, came back into the room where we left from. And I went, fucking hell. And then you went, fucking hell. And then the other person was like, fucking hell. Who was that? We went, we don't know, because we've both seen the same person. So
I think these shared trips are amazing. It's like, that's very cool.
The thing is, that's when I realised it wasn't a trip. It is a real door that opens or whatever, and it's like we have people with us. If you was with us, and literally you would come on the same journey as us, and you'd be like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's great, isn't it?" Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because you'd see the same thing.
So many journeys has opened up a thing in your brain, I think, where you can zip really quickly between realities or between whatever people want to call it. You know what I mean? Like, everyone says if you do DMT, there's a dimethyl, or mushrooms.
In our own body. Amy, tell them about it.
So the thing is, we don't even know when it's going to happen, because whatever we're doing on our travels, we're doing it in the physical realm. It's happening here, and we've seen what's going on around us, and then all of a sudden we get taken somewhere, and then we're back again. We're like, whoa, where the fuck have we just been?
Yeah, I think you have an ability. I think maybe your third eye is your pilot, and you're just more advanced at this. Do you know what I mean? Like that you've gotten to a point.
One thing I did check when we start the journeys off, I can hear parallels or parallel lines opening and closing, and they're like a bump, bump. You can feel that it's bump, bump. One thing I did think about, I thought, is it because of the neighbours around us and we're picking up some sort of background noise that we're picking it up from? So we came down to the boat for a weekend. We went on a travel in the boat, bump, bang, doom, boom, the same noises. So I was like, so then the noises are parallels or things opening, and I can hear them opening. There's nobody around us. We're in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, we're not connected to anything. And I can hear the same parallels opening and closing. And on some of them, there's almost like squeaky wheels, like there's like metal on metal, and you can hear them like, and you can actually hear almost like you're in a.
They haven't been moved for a long time.
Yeah, not been moved for a long time, and they're rusty, and you can hear them, the rails squeaking as you're moving. But we did check it because we check everything. You know, I mean, we check everything. Is it because of this or is it because of that? Is it this? Is it because of that? So we try different things. And so we thought, well, let's go down the boat for the weekend. Let's go on a travel down there. And lo and behold, here we are zooming along, and you can hear the parallels going bang, bump, 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 bang. So they do open, they do close, and some of them are squeaky, like metal on metal. You're like a squeaky wheel on an old railway track, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can really, so you can really hear them, can't you?
Yeah, definitely not railway
track. I think I realized something within the show about the clock. Okay, each clock has a key, and I've been saying this every time that we're all the key, but also this clock was winded at the beginning of before we decided to do this, and that's why we sent our blueprints. But we need to rewind the clock. It's become time again to rewind the clock. That's why we're the key, and we have to get everybody, like we're all the key. We're one. And we have to get together to rewind the clock for us to go on.
Yeah. Okay. Or connect to Mother Nature. Because she's been watching me. We'll be doing certain things with different energies. And I knew Mother Nature as an energy. She'd be outside watching what was going on, and you could feel her there, and you knew that she was there because she was watching, she was learning. She was like, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" You know what I mean? And she was learning from it. And I really do think that this, there's so many things that had to be done, so many different things had to be rectified, and before we move on. It's all been put into one big kettle of everything being done.
Every dimension, every reality for it to be right.
Everything.
We have to get it right.
All as one big. Let's sort all the problems out that could be problems. Let's sort this out. Let's sort this out. So it becomes like a health and safety manual of how to build a universe. With
not really like a checklist, but a
like a checklist of what could go wrong. And then because we all understand all of that. Universe understands that it can't go wrong in the future because we control it all, so it can't go wrong.
We created. That's why we have to. They have to learn as well. The new star seeds they're opening up and realizing they have to learn that we are creators. That's how we make the new Earth.
Well, a negative can't create something beautiful because it'll fall to pieces.
Yeah.
So we all sit here looking out and it's beautiful. Well, a negative can't create that because all they're going to do is destroy everything from the beginning. So you go back to the original source energy. If it was negative, then it would go, well, no, destroy it. Do you know what I mean? So it's been created by the positive, for the positive to teach the negative what they should be doing and why they should be doing it and why they should be looking after it, because time is running out. Time is going tick-tock. Yeah, and we're too biased to make the decision or make the call because we know what's going on. But the universe itself and I think Abracadabra is the clock, and it's going tiki-toki, 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 and that within all of that has all the permutations of everything that needed to be sorted out, everything that needed to be done, and all these wrong sort of beings that have been brought here, as well as everything else we're doing for ourselves at the same time, have been brought here as a last chance, and we give them our physical form, we've given them all of this, we've embedded them onto an earth and made them, you know, obviously all the Bibles and the writings have been written to make them feel special and part of the universe, and like being format, you know, big thing. I think that's where it all comes from. It's like being embedded here, and all this learnings they've been given to make them feel special and embed them into this universe to move forward in the positive, expanding universe. But you've got to look after it. You've got to nurture it. And all they want to do is destroy. And now they're destroying with this. So we
didn't look after. We just let it go willy-nilly and go, we'll let it take care of ourselves. We got lazy.
But we've all come in. But I believe we've come in, and what we've been, the parents we've been born into, is just a vessel for us to come in to do what we've got to do.
I feel that.
I feel that.
That's why we don't have a connection with them like we should have.
Exactly. Yeah. They're a vessel, and that vessel is for us to come in to be here to finish it off. But also, what another part of our journey is, we've had to walk the walk to make everything a real story. Where before we had the energy, or the story's the energy, and then we create the energy within it, and then with the storyline would then create the physical being within the story for us to enjoy the universe and everything in it. So it was always part of the story. Yeah. So we got the energy and then story, and then but the story then writes this physical into the universe to give us physical presence within the story. But we're trapped within the story. So I feel that this time it's a case of we've had to walk the walk, to make it a real physical story, real physical creation of our journeys, and not a storyline that we used to use in an energy form to create a physical being. That's the way I feel that it is. Does that make sense to you, Jack?
It does. Yeah.
And we've had to walk the walk, and it's been a fucking long walk. Because we're all obsessed in getting what the fuck we doing here, right? And how the fuck do we get home? That's what I feel. That's what you feel. It's like, fuck me. What have I got to do to get home? Why am I here? But it's a case of we've had to walk the walk, for many billions of light years, from the start of creation of everything through the relevant to and from boxes, to create this whole brand new, real, organic, physical form. Which is part of the story, but we're not created out of the story. We then become a physical that creates a story around us. So it takes us away from the confinements of a story.
The trappings.
The trappings of it, because that's a weakness. It's thingy.
It's
limitations. So I always said, we'll get home when the disappointment runs out, because disappointment has a permutation. So once the disappointment of trying to get home and not getting there runs out, we then go home.
The disappointment runs out.
And the disappointment runs out.
Kind of, it's lovely, isn't it? Because my everyday focus is about joy. Find joy. There's so much dark already.
Yeah.
The one thing that we're aiming for, like, where will we all be after the bullshit's happened and the world knows about what's
it's fucking good. What I've seen out there, it's fucking amazing. It's like, whoa. It's all about space travel and the science adventures and creating new universes within an empty universe. Do you know why? Because we can. I love that saying. Right. We used to always say as a joke years ago, well, why do you do that? Because you can. Yeah. And we were fucked at fucking Crossroads on TV. And we used to sit like 4 o'clock in the morning, and they did a rerun of Crossroads.
Oh God.
Right, honestly, right. So we used to sit there watching it, going, "My God!" Right, and it got to the last ever Crossroads, and I'm like, "What happened?" Anyway, the one that used to own the hotel, went to meet this shady guy in a bush wearing a black suit, yeah? And she went, how long were Crossroads going on, Judith? Years, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Right?
well.
And the ending was, she went to meet this shady guy in this bush. He says, why are you doing this to me? And you know what his answer was? Because I can. It blew my mind. I'm like, you fucking what? This show has been going on for years.
Oh,
And then when
God.
she got down to meet the bad guy, she went, why you do? Because I can. I was like, that is fucking comedy genius.
Oh, God.
That smashed the fuck out of the end of what was it? Jon Snow and that.
Oh,
Game of Thrones, right? That ending of Crossroads smashed the fuck out of it for me. Because I can. They should have just ended that. Right? Like, why are you doing all this? Because we can. And just ended it there.
It's like Douglas Adams. Have you ever read Douglas Adams? You know, the whole Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yeah.
And they build the big computer and they ask it the big question, and then it has to build another computer, and because that computer wasn't big enough, to in the end when it said the answer is 42.
Yeah, 42.
Oh, that's so weird. I just looked at my phone and it just said...
is at the top of the calendar of Abracadabra. I was like, what?
Just as you said that, I looked at the clock and it said 23:42 and I'm on 42%.
Way.
Oh,
there you go.
You gotta love synchronicity, right?
Well, not just that.
Hey,
because this time is running out. Yeah. Because this clock is running out. Ticky tocky, yeah. And we're seeing all the numbers lining up. Yeah.
Speaking of numbers, I don't want to interrupt, but I have to say this. I've been trying all night, but I don't want to interrupt everybody. But Amy has had a Kundalini awakening. Amy, please take it away and tell about it, because she's had an experience this week. Please do tell.
Yeah, it was. So over this year, I've been doing quite a lot of shadow work. You know, really reaching out to my spiritual path. And I've been
up on people.
I've been doing a lot of breath work and cold water therapy, sound therapy, all that kind of thing. So I was doing my breath work on Thursday. And what you're supposed to do is you do semi breathing, you do it to chanting, and I play all sorts of different music. And then you take a big deep breath, hold it in, but you push it right down into your gut. And I did that, and it was like I felt like I was shaking side to side. It scared me a bit because I didn't know what it was, but I could feel my whole body sort of convulsive with it. So I spoke to one of my friends who knows all sorts of, you know, if you have a dream, she can, you know, crack the codes on it and stuff like that. She's really good. So I rang her up and she says, you've had your Kundalini awakening. So, which was completely new to me. So I had a little look into it. But yeah, it completely blew my mind. It was like I wasn't in my bedroom anymore. I was somewhere else. And when I realised it was happening, I kind of like almost pulled myself back out of it again, because obviously it's new. So it was something that it was just like, oh my God, what's going on? But yeah, and then after I told her yesterday, I did my breath work again, and then it happened twice again. So when I spoke to her, she says, when you've opened up your chakras and you've reset your immune system. Wow. So since then, I've felt amazing. Like health-wise, I get stomach aches all the time. I've not had stomach aches all Friday and all Saturday. So it's just the weirdest thing. Yeah. So I've got to go and see a Kundalini master. And she says, this is where you really start your journey now. She says, because it's like there's a snake coiled up at the bottom of your spine, and you've awakened it, and then it's reached up and it's opened up all of your chakras.
See, the snakes, that snake is also symbolized in the atom as well.
And also in your health.
Yeah. And in the infinity.
It's biting its tail.
Biting its tail.
Ever perpetual.
Yeah. And then that funny, remember when we was talking about that overnight, and I said to you, I said to you, you can now reset, yeah. Because I said to you, we're almost like quantum copies of ourselves down here, finishing off what we're doing, and that quantum copy is fucking really good copy. When we're on our travels, we know we're like some sort of quantum copy of ourselves, yeah, and it's really good fucking copy. Like you won't even know that it's different to who you are, but it is. And I said to you, you can reset your quantum copy. Remember?
Yeah. So it was almost like this had happened, and then obviously I think it was Wednesday night that we'd spoken.
Yeah.
And it was like we'd taken all of that fear and we just like condensed it all down and absorbed it. And it was like everything's gone kind of thing. So it was like a really weird sort of turn of events that all happened one after another.
Yeah. Relevant to and from whatever you fucking want, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is, you make excuses for relevant to and from. So you can go, yes, I'm listening to what you're saying, but, and you can hear yourself going, but, because you make excuses of relevant to and from. Yeah. So people with OCD, is it the fact of it's the relevant to and from of the past of them boxes? So everything has to be done and checked so many times.
Them penned in, isn't it?
Yeah. Because the universe will collapse if they don't do it. So this becomes this mental problem. But is it because of the relevant to and from boxes that was trapped within? Yeah, and then literally just absorb them. Spend some time tonight, folks. Yeah, it's so easy to do. Yeah, we are inside here is relevant to and from whatever you fucking want. Yeah, and all you're doing is taking up all the other boxes in the universe are also now relevant to and from whatever you want, and you just take them all in as one relevant to and from whatever I want box.
We make it into whatever we want to make it into.
Yeah. And it's so easy to do. And like I say, you got this point of the first one, this point of the last one. You got all the other points of the center of the universe of all the other ones. They're all exactly the same as each other. It's running to and from what we want. And you just get the whole lot, put it to there, close the door. It's all one box now. So all them boxes are now one. Oof.
Circles. Spheres.
Yeah, spheres. And each sphere was each sphere, when they had the energy of hand, each sphere had a little dink to each other, but they all fitted into each other. So what gave stability to the sphere was that little offset within the sphere creates a pattern, which then creates stability to lock it into place. It's like a key code. So a perfect sphere had a little dink in it. Yeah. So then that little dink creates this sphere to lock itself into the universe.
Yeah.
So it holds it. So a perfect sphere can wobble, but these spheres are a little
contrast.
Yeah,
the little dink is contrast. Right?
Yeah, a little dink, and that little dink, within that sphere, then can be balanced with the rest of the universe, so it holds it in place. Yeah. And every sphere for every one of us has got their own sphere. So it would pass me all these spheres. And every sphere had a little dink till it all blended together as one. So it become a random sphere of many points that all fitted together and created balance within it. Try it. A sphere can go woohoo because there's nothing to hold it in place. But a sphere with a little dink in it, the universe then can stabilize with that dink, and then it creates through it. Almost like, best way of saying it is, if you get a roll of lead and then you hit the outside of it, it puts a dent on the outside, but that dent then follows through every single one of them. That's the best way I can explain it. If you've got a roll of lead and you dent the outside of it, that dent then goes all the way through.
Cause and effect.
Yeah, cause and effect. That little dink, when everything was spinning around us, created stability because the universe around it could compensate for that dink and hold it in place.
Isn't it funny? Look at the time while you're saying this. It's just clock 3:33.
There you go.
Another 30 seconds. I was just thinking, I saw it and I thought, I want to remember what we're talking about.
Yeah.
All these threes pop up. So soon it'll be 5 3s, 3:33 and 33 seconds. So what's 5
yeah, and that
15,
clock worked out
6.
33, didn't it? 3:38. I was like, oh my god! And there's no such thing as coincidence. So when you look in that clock, and that's probably what we didn't talk about on the early shows, because obviously it was a different type of show. Yeah, within that clock, you have to look at how many coincidences are in that clock to the point the whole clock balances itself.
Yeah,
it's fucking possible.
But see, actually, this is a bit like that.
It's like, how long would it have took me to go through every permutation, yeah, to work out how to balance that clock with all the individual clocks in it? Yeah, look at it that way now. For me to sit there and draw that clock, yeah, and work out what calculation would give me individual clocks within a clock and balance out to the 6s on the outside and the 72 on the outside, and work out every permutation you could actually go through to make that balance is fucking epic. Yeah. So for me to sit there and that be given to me and me draw it in 4 hours, and then I sat there and went, what the fuck? That one, that's 12 at the bottom, and that goes from 12 back around to 12 again, and that one top goes from 12 back around. It's like woo, and then I'm 6 on that one, I'm like woo. You know what I mean? And it's like it's impossible. Yeah. But for me to sit there and go, right, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna fuck everybody's head up with this one. Right, I'm still there now trying to fuck about how to fucking. I mean, didn't even know what I was looking for until I seen it. So I wouldn't even know what I'm going to be doing because I ain't got fucking clue. Yeah, until I seen it anyway. But bonkers. But when you think of it like that, yeah, that's the wow bit I got. I was like, fucking hell. Everybody's asleep. We had a party, yeah. They're all asleep. I'm like, what have you been doing? I'm like, I'm always similar. What have you been doing? I just found a clock. They're like, oh, shut up, that's fuck's sake. Oh no. I was like, no. So I sat about 4 people down with pen and paper and making them draw it. And I'm like, how amazing is that? And they're like, yeah, all right. I'm like, oh god, Dave, fucking come. But to sit there, not knowing what you're looking for. So we when you talk about nothing, we used to go looking for nothing to see what made a game out of looking for nothing. Yeah. So we'd have a house full of people, and we go, right, let's go looking for nothing and fuck everybody's heads up. Right. So we're looking around.
They
start searching, and then we go, what are you looking for? And you go, I don't know. And they're like, do you want a hand? Okay, yeah, all right. So by the end, we've got a house full of probably 15 people all looking for something, but ain't got a fucking clue what they're looking for. Maybe they're like that. They get the cushions out, the sofas out there, and ain't there. And then somebody goes, have you found it? They're like, no. Because you're in control of the game, right? You can feed the information in. What does it look like? I said, I can't fucking remember, but I know when I see it. Right, okay, fucking pieces. Looking for nothing.
Oh God. You're bloody bonkers.
But honestly, the nothing is because the nothing is really important, and like you said, the nothing is really important because on and on for years, people say, "Fucking hell, Daz, you've been going on for 92 hours now about the same thing." Like, they'll go off and come back, and I'll still be rapiding on. I'm like, "Fucking hell." I used to hold the record for talking meaningful bollocks for like 90 hours or 100 hours solid, didn't I? But it's meaningful bollocks I was talking about because it was just trying to get everything into some sort of like order, weren't it? But like, I ain't got a fucking clue what I was talking about now. That's right.
You were talking about it. It's fucking gone.
So of course, when I used to rock up with like good o'clock, they'd be like, "Oh God," because they're just used to me. But this like, and then you'd be like, "Why didn't you tell me that last week?" Because I didn't fucking know until it just come out of my mouth. Did I? because you're channeling. You know, you're off your rockos and you're channeling, and then all of a sudden all these messages come and you start talking, and the more you talk about it, the more you perfect. Yeah, so you got all this and these stories, and then by the end of it, it's like and then you go, right, now I can talk about all this because I understand it. The more you talk about something, the more you clarify it, and the shorter it gets.
Yeah.
So that's where premeditated fabrication with intent come from. It means you're a lying country. Yeah.
I like that. I might have to steal it.
Isn't it funny how everyone's
I used to say to people,
like,
I used to say to people years ago, I used to go to people just to get them going. I used to go, I know you from somewhere. They're like, no, you don't. I go, I do. I know you from somewhere. And I'll go, are you from Liverpool? No. I go, I know where you're from. And I go, you're from Scunthorpe. And they're like, no, definitely. Oh, yes, you're definitely from Scunthorpe. And they used to, I would wait for them and go, why is that then? Because there's a country in there somewhere, as in like how you spell it. have a look at Scunthorpe and see what's in it.
The word.
There's a country without a tree.
There is.
You're in the
It's been in a lot of jokes. Scunthorpe. Yeah.
And they'll just go and walk away. I'm like, really?
What?
Remember Kenny Everett used to do that too?
I used to love Kenny Everett.
I did.
We're going to round them up.
He would say, you know,
and we're going to put them in the film, and then we're going to bomb the bastards. What was his other one? I'd sooner be dead than red in his big tank.
He did, didn't he? Yeah, he did.
He come out a big tank. I'd sooner be dead than red, and like boom, boom. Have you ever watched a lot of Kenny Everett?
Yeah.
I have.
I love it.
No,
you got to watch it.
Very old.
Kenny Everett, right?
He's brilliant.
Back in the day, fuck me, he's funny.
He's
wasn't
funny.
he?
Funny,
And
funny, Judy.
He's absolutely.
Sid Snot.
Yeah, he used to do Sid Snot. Yeah, and he used to have David Essex with him, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I'll throw brick through the window. You know, I'll go get that ring from the girlfriend. Throw the thing in the window.
Must watch some more Kenny Everett.
Yeah.
We used to put him on a Friday night. So we used to have him on a Friday night. So people just come around the house before we started partying. So we'd get all the old comedies out, and then we'd all sit in there as a party, sort of like building up, watching old comedy films, or old comedians. So then it always put a real nice spin on the rest of the party.
For the whole weekend,
because it's put you into that mindset, and humour, and then the whole weekend would then spin out on that humour all weekend.
Yeah.
So we used to always, when we used to have house parties, it would start off on a Friday, and we used to put all the old comedians on and get all the old bits and pieces going, and people would be sitting listening to it, and then by the weekend, end of the weekend, it set that sort of like humour for everybody, isn't it? And then when you used to go out in town or different parties, that humour used to spread with you to different places, and you took it with you, and it was wicked, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, try.
Get him on YouTube.
It's wicked. Just put the old comedians on, the old thingies or whatever.
Yeah.
And before you
The
start,
old cartoons as well.
Yeah, the really old cartoons, and before you as your party is developing, that humour is developing around you. Yeah. And then you take that mindset on, and then wherever you go, you're in this like wicked fucking mindset of humour. Yeah, if you start off the journey watching something morbid and horrible, then the whole party is morbid and horrible. So we used to do that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Wicked, wasn't it?
It was wicked.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to have to go.
No!
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
Cheryl.
It's been great.
Lots of love.
Cheryl. Bye.
Well, I tell you what, should we end that there?
Good morning.
Yeah.
And then we'll have
Yeah.
a private chat afterwards.
I
Yeah.
think we should.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
everybody. Lots of
Oh,
love.
it's
I
been
bet
wonderful.
everyone's
Thanks,
thinking, "What
Gerald.
they're going."
Good seeing everybody. It's been wonderful.
Taz, been
Bye,
wicked.
darling.
Guys.
Bye, Cheryl.
See ya.
Lots of love.
See you later.
Yeah, bye.